Hi, and welcome to A Chic Critique. I am Shantae, not to be confused with Shantae. We have Mistaken, Christina, Tam, Lauren, Shan, Jay, Mr. O, and Mr. Trill. Hi, y'all. Okay, so we will not waste any time because it is pretty late. So we're going to jump right into our first question, which is, do men and women really know what they want out of a relationship? For example, men say they want a submissive woman, but normally what I see is they don't necessarily choose submissive women. They actually overlook the submissive woman. What do you guys think about that?
I think we should start by defining the word submissive. Ready to conform to authority or will of others, meekly obedient or passive, sheep like. Definition by Webster.
Thank you,
Is that
Mr.
what we?
O, for doing that for us. So, I hear a lot of men complaining on the internet about women not being submissive, which means that you're not choosing women who are submissive. And I know there are plenty of submissive women out there. So, are men really choosing what they want? Because if you're in a relationship with a woman and she's not submissive, that was your choice, was it not? So, just wanted to hear you guys' input.
Okay, first and foremost, man, I think in light of definitions, I think we should define choose because apparently women have a different definition of choosing than men do. And what I mean by that is like y'all are consider somebody that we may think is attractive or we may lust after or we may just be having sex with. Y'all see that as choosing. See, men don't see choosing that way. Men see choosing as somebody that we are taking very, very seriously. And most men who are taking a woman very, very seriously, she's perfectly cool with getting on that man's program. So I mean that what this search for submissiveness is. I'm not sure like many men that are already in relationships have that problem. But when it comes to choosing a woman, the woman he chooses typically is willing to submit to the program.
Right.
Question I'm sorry.
Go
Based
ahead.
on the definition that Mr. O just read, um, he said sheep like, meat. Is that really like just using that definition? Is that typically what men end up with when they say they want a submissive woman? Do you want someone that is sheep like, meek or what have you?
I think that each man, I always talk about this thing, the deal. And a man wants something and a woman wants something. And it's catered to like specifically what the job that or what we're trying to accomplish. So if I'm trying to build something in particular, I'm going to look at it as like it's a role, a job of something that I need fulfilled. And we're going to get into the other semantics of that with the other questions. But when I'm looking to share my life and time with somebody, there's specific things that I want, and as long as let's take submissive out of it and just say that she is someone that I can communicate with that's agreeable, more than these trigger words just throw you off. But I want somebody when I know that I need my first 90 minutes of my day to myself, I need you to be agreeable on that and not fight me on that so I can be the best that I need to be. I want somebody that's going to be agreeable with the things that I'm trying to accomplish. The role of a woman, by definition, by understanding through the doctrines that a lot of us are a part of, such as Christianity, not myself. But if you're going to be a Christian woman, then you have to understand that the role of a woman was created for a need and was to help that man. And so by in helping me, I don't mean like being my servant or sheep like. I just wanted to throw the definition because we use the word. But there's something that I want to accomplish. And so I have a need for that woman if she's in my life. And the need is to be agreeable with what I'm trying to build.
Well, the definition, I just wanted to define what meek is by Oxford Dictionary. It is quiet, gentle, and easily imposed on, as well as submissive. So, is it that you're trying to say that you want somebody who is quiet, submissive, and easily imposed on? Because in this social norm world, it seems to me that the meek woman, the one who is quiet, submissive, and allows certain things, is the one that is walked over And the one that calls people out has the this and that attitude, Birkin bag, I want this, I want that. She seems to be the one that's winning nowadays, especially on social media.
I think that's a modern understanding. Shane was gonna say
Oh, I
something.
didn't realize my mic was muted the whole time. What do you mean by winning? You said she's winning these days.
I
Winning
mean,
in
in
what?
terms of being on social media, the relationships that I see that are glorified, especially let's say on the Shade Room, are the ones that you have the Birkin bags and you have, this guy doing XYZ and posting everything that he does for her online because she is not necessarily toxic, but she demands so much. She is not the submissive one. She is not the one who is meek and kind of behind the scenes. You don't see a lot of behind the scenes women glorified on social media. Sometimes you have wonderful behind the scenes women behind a strong man because they support them and that man knows her worth. But that is not what is glorified on social media nowadays, women and their glorified worth. You're more so, I don't want to say glorifying the man, but nowadays on social media, it's like the women have to chase the men in order for them to even get noticed because it's such a variety with women right now,
Well, the problem is the social media comparison. I think the relationships that are ideal aren't lived publicly. We don't see them on social media. So while you may see this and while this may be popular, it may not be what is desired by the masses. It's just what we see. And like I say, modern times, we live in modern life on social media. It's glorified in a way that we're promoting. It's really doing a damage to the youth because they're aspiring to be what they're seeing, and people just do what they see. But some of the best healthy relationships that you'll ever see, you'll never see them in public. But when we talk about what men want, men have wanted the same things pretty much since the beginning, from birth to death and throughout history. Our list pretty much don't really change. We want certain things, certain character traits in a woman, and it don't really change. Our list really doesn't really evolve like that because we know what we want, and we need that helpmate with us. We're not trying to adjust that list by plugging and playing different little things. We want standard certain things that we want, and we're simple creatures. To be honest, men are one of the simplest creatures on earth, and we want certain simple things, and for those simple things we're willing to dive in front of bullets for. So metaphorically speaking, but our list really doesn't change like that. But to your point though, just to give some the catch 22 of that, I've been, everybody's familiar with Robert Greene, and he wrote many books, but one of the things that he talks about in The Art of Seduction is one of the character traits in a woman is like the danity, is she does have some masculine traits to her, and based on that man's upbringing or the lack of what he had in his life, either mother or father, he could be more attracted to those masculine traits, that outspoken woman. So that's what you tend to find in today's world. It's just a whole plethora of things that's going on, but standard, the majority men do want a woman that's just agreeable. I don't want to use these words that tend to put us into these little boxes where we get fixated on a word and not get to the meat of it all.
And again, I think we got to slow down with the whole social media glorifying things. Like even these boss chick, Birkin bag,
City girl.
mafia, city girl energy. Like how many of these chicks do you actually see married? And
Yeah.
again, that's what I mean when I say women are confused as to what a man is actually choosing. See, when we choosing something, that means a woman that we willing to put a ring on. Those women are getting the attention they deserve. Braun wife is pretty famous. Steph Curry wife is pretty famous. Denzel wife is pretty famous. And I can go down the line of wives of just great men, you know what I'm saying, that not all chasing the spotlight. I'm not all in front of the camera trying to dictate why my relationship is going. No. I got me a strong man. I'm following this man because I subscribe to this program. Those are the women who are actually married. Now, if you look at your timeline, scroll down it, look at all them chicks that's getting all them likes and all them lusty comments and all of that. How many of them got a ring on their finger? And that's going to answer the question as to, are men really choosing those women, or are we just having fun with them temporarily and, sending them back to hell, as my boy Smooth would say.
JT, Saweetie, we can name all of them. That's the Birkin bag girls. The ones that's rapping about it, where they at today. Right. And to be honest with you, when we talk about, even in the definition that he said, sheep-like and whatnot, concubines is not what we're looking for. No man is really looking for a concubine today, not in 2022. But like Mr. O said, agreeableness is important. Being able to understand, have some compassionate compromising, not even so much compromising, but more so cooperation is what men are looking for. And so while I hear that, the strong black woman, queen of the earth, this and that, and all the kind of stuff that you see on social media, I wouldn't necessarily call that winning. I think it's a loud minority, as I like to say. It's a loud minority of people who's out there making it seem like that's winning, but actually, I don't think that's necessarily the case.
I meant winning, like winning with quotations, not winning per se, because that's not the winning that I want. Winning is more so with the marriage and the beautiful life with a husband.
But you also mentioned that the women that are cooperative or sheep-like or agreeable are getting taken advantage of.
That's true.
They are.
Well, I will say this. Y'all
Come in, Lady Shaman.
Y'all are talking about popular couples, but in general, for me, I know I get hit on a lot by married men. So if you chose the woman that you're with, I still think that, no, you're not choosing the right person because you're still looking out for other things out in the street. So let's not talk about, I guess, these popular couples. We could talk about the general community. There's a lot of people that are happily cheating and married.
Yeah, don't get confused on being hit on, because those are 9 out of 10 just an opportunity for sex and
that's
not
fine
longevity.
too, but I know people who are ready to leave their relationship. So it's not that. So it's when you are saying that you chose the right person, and I'm pretty sure a lot of women on the panel can say a married man has reached out to them or tried to approach them or said, hey, grass is greener on the other side. I'm interested in you. My marriage is not happy. They want to start an emotional cheating situation. So it happens all the time. So if the question is, do men really know what they want in a relationship? I think the question should be, do men really know what they need? Because I think that's a whole different conversation.
Men actually know what they want and what they need. And this is, remember, did you guys hear me earlier? I was like, Trill, come on, me and Trill we're gonna fight, we're gonna battle today. Because me and Trill, we have a different take on this. So here's the thing. I also believe that women know how to, in my anecdotal experience, and the people, which is thousands that I've spoken to, women seem to flip as to who they were when they're in the dating phase versus who they were when they become comfortable and married, or comfortable and pregnant, or comfortable in having children, or have gotten that guy. So while you mentioned that lots of women who are submissive, I think lots of women who think they're submissive, who know how to act submissive to get what they want. And then once they got what they want, do they remain submissive? And so that when you see these married men out here cheating and doing all this other kind of stuff behind their women's backs, are they doing that to submissive women? Or are they doing that to somebody who's getting on their damn nerves, who's not on their program, that's giving them a hard time at home? He don't want to leave the office, he wants to stay late. He gets to the house, he wants to sit in the parking in the driveway before he comes in the house for 45 minutes because he doesn't want to deal with that non-submissive, unruly woman. And so what happens is, when we're in the honeymoon phase and we're happy and the sex is good and we're dating each other and we're excited and butterflies is going all through our bodies and everything is really, really wonderful early on, does she maintain that same position, mentality, respect for her man through and through? Eddie Murphy talked about this. He says, you can get you a girl. This is way back in the 80s when he did Raw or Delirious. I'm not sure which show it was. But he was like, yo, man, you got to go overseas, get you a woman, bring her back, but keep her away from American women because they will indoctrinate her. And once they indoctrinate her, she's going to ask you for half. Now, that was just part of the joke that Eddie Murphy was saying in his stand-up, but there was a little bit of truth to that. And the truth to it is, do you maintain what you were when we were dating? you're cool and you cooked and you did all these wonderful things and you made me all happy and I felt all good. And then I said, man, this is what I want for the rest of my life. Let me go out here and buy you a ring. I get the ring, put it on your finger. Now you're my wife. I'm working out here. And then what happened? Wait, who are you? What happened to my girlfriend? Oh, that's the real you now. The representative has been fired. And now you really show up who you are. And I got to deal with this. I can't just jump out of the marriage. So I'm going to deal with it and hang out there. And then over time, now you got this guy hitting on you, this married guy, because he don't want to deal with the woman that he thought he had when he married her, but became something else later on. So that happens as well. Now, the degree of which that happens, I don't think we can measure, but it does actually happen. And so
But see, what I think that guys get mixed up with when women change in a relationship. So when you're dating your boyfriend, girlfriend, there is a level of, I guess, comfort and freedom that you have when you're at the dating phase. Then when you get married, it is logical that I guess both people would change, but definitely women, because the situation changed. So once you get married, you have kids. You know, we're in the dating phase, you know, many times, you know, well, if you don't have kids prior to dating, if you don't have kids, you have a level of freedom in that phase that you don't have once you get married and start a family. So it's logical that the woman will change because most of that responsibility falls on her. So when you add, now I got a children, I'm working full time, and I also now have to split my time between work, raising kids, and, you know, tending to my husband. Absolutely, the woman's going to change, but men are stuck on what happened to that woman when we were just dating. What happened to my girlfriend? The circumstances have changed, so the woman has changed as well.
Are you under the impression that there's more pressure on the woman after she gets married than a man?
Say what? I'm sorry.
Are you under the impression, or am I understanding that you're saying there's more pressure put on women after they get married than men?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree, and I can explain the concept of it.
I agree that too.
Yeah, the concept is easy. Is that, and I say this on the Peep Show on Thursday, so hopefully I don't get cut off when I say this. So when women start off at kindergarten and men start off at kindergarten, they go on the same path of success. So nowhere in our culture teaches a woman how to be a wife, how to be a mother, how to be all that stuff. So when you have these two competing paths, then Mary meet Dick, and then he said, "Hey, look, let's get married." They get married. Now she pick up a whole new role. She got to learn how to be a mom. She got to learn how to cook for everybody. She got to be the person that sit here and say, I'm gonna make sure that the groceries get done. She got all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? All a dude got to do is what? Cut the grass and get the oil change. So that's a big responsibility. And she got to tend to the man. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, the only thing that it can work, and the only way it worked in history, is what? Keep them women at home. Because you don't have to compete. You don't have to compete with that. If you keep a woman at home, and then now you got better kids, because now that woman primary role is to invest in that household, them kids, herself, because everybody asking these women to go to the gym. If you got them working a 9 to 5, they just do the math in your head. You got to you got to cook breakfast, get the kids ready, sit on the school. They got to go to work from 9 to 5. They get off, they go to the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? They might find time to go to the gym. They do homework, they tend to their man, and they go to sleep. Who want to live a schedule like that?
Well, you forgot that you got to give baths as well. So the homework, the bathing.
Yeah,
you know, all
what I guess what I didn't take into consideration is, so we're talking about these matter. See, I'm the guy that don't believe in 50-50. I think that's a silly concept. I don't like it. I'm the traditional. I'm the older guy. I'm the 49-year-old who comes from an old school mentality. Dad, pops, men pay for everything. It's all on our shoulders. And so when it comes to the stuff that you were saying, women haven't been, you're absolutely right, Logic. They haven't been taught that. They haven't been given those instructions. But also, it's kind of baked. A lot of that stuff that you mentioned is baked in the cake. Women are naturally nurturers. Now, if we're going to talk about a naturally nurturing being who knows how to raise children, whether she's taught or not, who knows how to take care of a man, whether she's taught or not, whether she knows how to handle a household, whether she's taught or not, and you send her out into the workforce as well, then I'm with you guys. I understand that.
You're
Which
right.
I think,
I realize this.
I think is at that point, now she got to go to work. She got to get up and fight traffic with me. We got to figure out whose car is blocking whose car, and is she stuck in traffic, and who's gonna go get the groceries. And all he got to do is come home and kick his shoes off, but she got to come home and do all it. And especially if she got this guy that wants to just have her do all that traditional stuff when she gets home, but then go out to work, then I'm with you guys. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
See, this is the problem, Shannon. You got to realize this. Yes, this is what they're naturally designed for. This is what our society demand of them. See, you
no. That's not what it demands of them.
Well, hold on, wait.
Society didn't do that.
I'm explain. Because
lay it on me, Logic.
When I say the society demand of them, you got to realize this: they're bosses at the job, and then you can't understand. If you got to understand, just like a man, you just can't cut that switch off and on. Oh, okay, I'm finna cut on this submissive switch tonight, and I'm finna cut it off when I go to work. No, it don't work like that. The more you do something, just like if you give a kid a gun in Congo and you surround them around a lot of guns, and you say, "Hey, man, kill." Guess what he gonna do? He gonna kill. It's hard to get them kids out of that mentality when they was raised to do such things. We got to understand our women go through the same thing. They raised to be super competitive. They raised to sit here and chase the bag, chase the grease, and all that kind of stuff like this. And we cross this path where they meet Dick. And then now Dick said, "Hey, look, I want you to forget everything you done learned for the last 15, 20 years. It's impossible.
I like to use the data that's available, and a lot of this is opinions and that has evolved over time. Initially, the creation of woman was to be the help that the man needed. Have we've added to these responsibilities over time? I'm not saying she need to stay at home, but what men typically want from the beginning, and this is reference to a book called "What Every Man Wants in a Woman and What Every Woman Wants in a Man," written by John Hagee and his wife Diana Hagee. These is a minister who is counsel couples for decades, right? The man's list has never really changed at all of the 10 things he wants. We do want the simplicity, cooking, cleaning, nurturing, and those things. And the woman's, she tends to adjust her list as time passes and adds to that. But typically we want the same things. Just because you're going out to that job every day, that does not negate the responsibility of the cleaning and the cooking. I still want a hot meal. I don't care if you had online classes and you work 12 hours. I still want that, because what you did not acknowledge, besides the grass cutting, is that we're managing this low-level threat of violence that always is omnipresent. That door ain't getting kicked in because the neighbors know that a man lived there and he got guns.
No, that door ain't get kicked in because it's something called 911.
Well, I'm gonna push back too, because women deal with a high level of threat as well from the men that they're with, based on statistics. So there is a high level of domestic violence against women in a household. So if they're working, imagine that. Now you just added a whole nother avenue, because they're working, because typically nowadays you need dual incomes. So a lot of times the woman having to work is not necessarily is optional, is necessary. Then she's coming home, taking care of kids, and then dealing with the underlying threat of violence or abuse from her mate. So we're still, like you said, you're juggling this low level threat of violence, but for many women, it's very real when they come home to their households.
I wouldn't say many. I hear you mistaken, and I want to be sensitive to that. But by the norm, the masses, I don't think women are getting drugged through their houses by the majority. I think it happens, but I don't think that it's the majority. You know, like you can.
No, she didn't say the majority.
What level of abuse you're talking about?
We got to speak in the mass terms, though.
I'm saying even in mass terms, statistics do show that many women, it may not be majority, but a lot, it deal with some form of abuse. So it may not also always be physical, the threat of physical abuse, but you are dealing with emotional and mental abuse.
But the
as
data
well.
you're referring to is that women are filing for divorces based on this. However, what we don't talk about is the courts making a mutual combat decision in those households. Men are dealing with the same emotional and verbal abuse, just at the same rate as the hands is being laid. This is happening all
And the
over.
split, Mr. O, is 35.6% for women, 28.7% for men.
Right.
Nobody, but the men's statistic is never mentioned.
Right.
And by the way, of all violence, 15% of it is domestic violence, right? So it's of all the violence that's happening in America, it's what 1 point, it's less than 20% that's even domestic, and of that domestic, it's about almost split between men and women. Men are getting their ass beat too.
It's mutual combat. It's what the judge is deciding on a lot of these divorces. If you read the decrees.
But you remember what I said? I gave you the reason why. Because see, you're training them to be men. You're training them to be providers. You're training them to go out and do everything that you're supposed to be responsible for. So now it brings conflicts to the household. Like, I just be honest with you. Look, if you got two people working and she got most of the workload, you telling me she ain't gonna run out? I'm just keeping it funky.
Yeah.
And it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse for them. But at the end of the day, everybody worked at that job where they was being overworked and underpaid, and you ask them why they got an attitude going to work, and they'll tell you. And the thing is that it's like that in a relationship. If a woman has this much responsibility and she's clocking in just like you, then now you got conflict in your household. Like I said, if you want to quit whining, take that woman out that household and say, you done working.
Retire her.
And guess what?
Or allow
Yeah,
her to
I
do
don't
something
think women really want to work anyway. Just being
Everything
honest.
you say.
I
Look,
don't think y'all really want to work.
I'm telling you, Mr. Mo.
And we're working the same amount of hours a day, and you still expect me to come home, cook, clean, maintain the house, and take care of the kids? No, we got to have some type of shared responsibility. That's not how it works. I'm not bringing in half of the income, and I still got to do the majority of the work. How does that make sense?
Bringing in half
I'm not finna share no responsibility with you. I'm telling you, you finna quit. You quitting. Where you work at, Tam?
That's not for people to know.
Well,
I don't think y'all want to go to these jobs anyway.
It don't matter. You no longer work on the spaceship tonight. It's over.
They don't, Mr. O. They don't want. They don't.
They just don't want to. They feel they want to have security, or they don't want to. Ain't nothing secure, nothing promised. But you got to go out on faith, because I don't think y'all want to work anyway. But you don't want to feel like, well, I don't want to be.
No, I do want to work.
On the end.
You have some women who are content with working. You have some of those women who are complacent.
I don't think y'all really want to work. I think it's the understanding of like, well, what if happen in the future and I get left with nothing and I haven't put in, and you just want the security. But life don't have guarantees.
But who said
it never is going to be promised. I don't think you really want to do that. I just think you want to have something of your own just in case something go wrong. But I don't really think you want to get up every day and fight.
Type thing. Some women have purposes, and some women have work towards, like, for example, I have to bring up Kevin Samuels. He was talking about the women who are complacent with being by themselves because they are doctors, they are lawyers, they are entrepreneurs, and they are happy to be a modern woman party of one, like Elizabeth's party of one, and they're very complacent and happy about that. And that's the issue. You have some women who are complacent with being party of ones, but then you have some women who are hardworking women who are party of ones, who are not complacent and who want that intimacy and who want that relationship, but it's kind of hard to get because of the dating game right now.
See, life gonna balance it all out, because just numbers alone, there ain't enough men that women want that are desirable to go around for all the women that's walking the earth. So every woman ain't gonna get one unless she share anyway. Like numbers alone, we can't preach this and think that every woman is going to be paired up with a male on this planet and get old if they do these lists of things. It just ain't enough. There's more wombs on this planet than there are males. That's a fact.
So,
So
you're
every woman
saying
ain't gonna
that
get
women
one.
need to be
I'm
okay
saying that
with
there's
sharing
definitely a
men?
necessity and a need for those judges and those high-powered attorneys and those executive women that compete with the males at the executive level. Yeah, they can be up there high-powered and making all that money, but they're not all gonna have that man that we talking about that's gonna be in their life. Because there is a need for these women. I'm not negating that at all. And some women are happy and have accepted the fact that they may never get one because there ain't enough. So
Right.
I'm not saying that women don't want, as in totality, no woman wants to work. I'm saying the majority of women who want to be wives don't want to be going out that door every morning fighting traffic and having their Monday morning conversations at that water cooler.
I
They
would
really
change
don't want to do
majority.
that.
I would just say some.
No, it's
We
a
can say
majority.
not all, but we can
It's a
definitely say
majority.
a
It's a
man.
minority that really want to be out there and be party of one.
Not the norm.
We got
Right,
to be
it is
real
a
about that.
minority that want to be a party of one. You have hella women who don't want to be party of ones, who are working their ass off and hoping that being a party of one, somebody will see them and be like, "Hey, what's up?" You know?
Yeah. It's a minority that wants to be, that is in looking forward to being a party of one throughout life, and but I get, but there are those out there, and I think, Jay, that you're saying that you're one of those. Am I correct? Are you saying that you're interested in being you're cool with being the professional woman, and that you're the woman
Hell
that
no, I'm
wants
not.
to work?
I'm those.
She
Hell
wanna
no, I'm not. I am not happy being a party of one. I was a party of one
Oh, it
tonight
sounded
before
like you
I
was
got here,
championing those
and I
ladies. I
was
thought you
party of
was
party of
representing
one,
them.
posting on my Snapchat, party of one, Jennifer, party of one. But my thing is, it was cute, cute pictures and everything. But it didn't feel good because I want the intimacy. Okay, it's not fun
Oh,
always being a party. When I was sitting next to
my
an
bad.
old
I
ass couple,
apologize.
and I had to
I took
leave and
that.
had to tell them, "Hey, just want to let y'all know, couple goals, have a great one."
I thought the way you were championing them. I thought you were.
Oh no,
I
I
thought
was
you were
just talking about
representing
some
them.
women. I was talking about what Kevin Samuel said about how some women are happy about being party one, not me.
Yeah, it's a very small minority that
Some
want
of
to
them
do
are,
it.
you know, I won't take away from the competence of some that became like mayors and judges and all these things, man. Like women have made a lot of big accomplishments in his life, but at the sacrifice of having that type of family and household and structure that most people want to achieve. It's the sacrifice. It's gonna be a trade-off. Because at the end of the day, you got to understand most men that have done the work to get to the level that's very competitive to achieve all these things don't really want to take their competitor to bed. When Logic was talking about it in childhood as we coming up, and then you got the little kid that say, I want to be this, I want to have my own business, and then you have a woman that's want to do the same. As y'all going through school, it's like y'all competing. Who gonna start their business and accomplish it first? I know Trill gonna push back because he has a different perspective and he's just the outlier. Like he not the norm, but he make it work. It worked for him. But for most people, men don't want that. We want you to compliment, i.e., the reason why the woman was here as a helpmate. Man was on earth. A need for a woman existed. Woman was created to help that man. Don't sit up here and say you're a Christian and you also a feminist. That's an oxymoron. It don't work.
Real fast, Lauren, can we hear from Lauren because she hasn't been able to speak?
Speak on that one, Lauren, the feminist and the oxymoron one, please.
I can't hear you.
I said feminists and Christians and feminists.
Hold on. She trying to get her mic. I think hey Lauren, wrap your mic in some Lumifoil. It worked every time. We can't hear you, Lauren.
I think, well, let me just say this. So I think that is exactly why a lot of women have issues with the word submissive. A lot of us were raised in a church, and taught that. But I think it was taught in a way that was not necessarily intended the way God meant. A lot of times, I think men conflate or like have a tendency to mix cultural stereotypes with scriptural truth. And they have a tendency to twist it into the way that it fits the way that they want things to be, as opposed to what God may have intended it to be. So like both female and male were created in God's image. And I know a lot of times men say, no, it says in man's image. But
That's what it says.
But listen to this. So men, I think men want to think that equal, that equal can't mean the same as different. Like you can be different, but equal. And when God created man and women, it wasn't complete. That's why he had to create woman to complete what he said as a total image of who he is, because God also represents masculine and feminine traits. A lot of times men don't want to accept the fact that they also have male and female traits. That's just a part of the human, norm. You're going to express certain emotions based on what situation, calls for it. So if you look at Jesus, when he was on earth, you can look at all of the stories that talk about how he served, right? How he was humble. All of those synonyms that you equate to femininity is what God exhibited as man on earth. So when we're looking at today's men, modern men, or whatever men historically, a lot of their lead is about dominance, specifically dominance over women, just because you say in the Bible, God created man first and then women were made to be their helpmate, that you equate that to mean I need to dominate, control. And that's not what that means.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Modern men don't care about none of that. As far as like dominating, if I'm gonna be honest, I think that's more of an older men, older
Absolutely.
generation type of situation.
The Bible
Men
is
these
harder
days,
on them.
yeah,
We
man,
loosened it up.
modern men these days don't even care nothing about the Bible. If we're gonna be honest, this is probably the most unreligious group of people in history.
We stopped
Men
going
don't give two fucks about none of that. Men in this era want efficiency, which is what we want. I done sat here and I done let y'all talk about these gender roles and shit, and it's just turning my stomach the more I'm hearing it. Because it's just unrealistic, right? Just like y'all saying, oh, the man work, come home, but the wife expect to work, take care of the kids, cook the food, clean the house. That's not reality in this era. Now, maybe in 1980, 1990, there may be some truth to that. But in this era, dads are actually active in their kids' lives. I'm not coming home from work and just, let me kick my feet up, get clean all that, get all that shit straightened up. No, I'm coming home, I'm bathing my daughter. I'm putting her to bed. I'm getting clothes ready. I can cook as well. So we are sharing in those responsibilities. Again, it's about efficiency. So even though we both working as a man, typically most men are still going to pay most of the bills. That's just what it is. And we're helping out with the roles, gender roles that people like to bring up so much. So that's why I say when y'all talking about like, oh no, women stand up, women sacrifice more or something like that. Y'all said earlier. I was just like, that's not true. It's not, because
I thought you said it was true when I asked that question.
No.
That's a misquote. We didn't say sacrifice. We said responsibilities.
Right, and which is not true. Again, it's not true because if we sharing in the roles, and I'm still paying most of the bills, it's not as lopsided as we making it seem. Now, in that example that y'all use, like, okay, he just paying the bills, coming home, chilling, and she doing everything. You're right, but I don't feel like most relationships work like that today.
Can we do this?
Most men are active in their household in terms of everything, but we still taking the trash out, we still fixing the cars, still paying most of the bills, and helping with duties that men in past generations just didn't. Men in past generations was known for bringing that check home and just, hey, I'm kicking my feet up, iron my clothes, do it. Men these days are not doing that. So I feel like that's a false parallel, and that's like an older men type of thing. And I feel like we need to clarify it that way.
Okay. Can I give you?
You guys, we're gonna have to move on to the next topic. We've been on this one for way too long.
Oh, I gotta give a good example. This is a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Okay, listen, I'm gonna let you go, Logic, and then Lauren is gonna go, and then Tam, because I know Lauren didn't have an opportunity to speak and hope she has her mic fixed. Okay, but go ahead, and then we'll let.
I'm gonna make it quick. I want to respect the ladies on the panel and my gentlemen. So check this out. The thing is, it's an element of control that we don't even understand, because what you got to realize, the more chaos that's involved in the environment, the more government you need. So I'm gonna give you an example. I went to Iraq, and Shannon backed me up on this, right?
I was
After we invaded Iraq, what's the first thing we put up? A woman's school. We invaded Afghanistan. What's the first thing we put up?
was there too.
A women's school. Go through history, Panama, all that. See, this is not.
You did that in Kuwait, though. But go ahead.
Yeah, but this is what you're saying. This is not. This is what you're used to. And I'm not saying that I'm not about women going to school, but what they learned is if you get the men, the women to butt heads with the men, then now it will be more government needed. It will be more control. It will be more need for police. Look at Afghanistan stats. Once the U.S. came in and started putting them women's schools and doing this woman empowerment stuff, the domestic abuse went through the roof. And the first thing they did when Joe Biden had got up out of there is burnt down that women's school. Because and women don't get triggered though, because what happened is that the problem that I said earlier, where you had women and men on the same path, and you hit that crossroads.
Yeah.
Everywhere else besides Western civilization do not have that problem. And I believe it at that.
Yeah. I know
Lauren,
you got time.
Lauren, the
so
mic is not working.
I want
your mic is still not working. Do you want to go out and come back in? Tam, do you have anybody else?
yeah, I definitely
I
want
mean, women. That's what.
we got
I trust.
like, just for clarity, man, I'm using the foundation of Christianity to kick this thing off because I know we got a lot of people who believe in that in the chat. And so we're going to start with why creation. And I just want to say that Miss Taken was saying that she think that we are like manipulating, but you did say you think, and you were actually like manipulating the definition. And that I wasn't manipulating at all. It was a man was on earth and he had a need for a helpmate. And that's all I was saying. I'm not conflating why the need was the need, but there was a need for her to even exist. And that's
but
all
nobody is disputing that.
She kind of like
well,
on it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is disputing who was here first on earth. It's the point where you made the comment saying that there really isn't a balance. If there's no balance, you're saying it has to be a balance. But you're saying if she's going to work every day and you're going to work every day, you still expect her to come home, cook dinner, maintain the home, and do everything else in the home. How is that fair? Where's the balance in that?
I'm saying what I said in current times, in modern times, there is a deal. Just like Trill said, I love to cook. If you look at my channel, I cook all the time. My deal is my deal. I want my 90 minutes to myself without any talking. I don't mind coming home and doing some homework, but I don't want the kids running around crazy. I want some order in the house. Just establish order in the house. You know, if I had a long day, I don't mind going upstairs and like, okay, tell me my son's upstairs and he need help with this particular thing or whatever. Yeah, or talk to him about a bully or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna invest my time with the kids. I'm saying I'm not investing any time with the kids, or I ain't gonna take the trash out. I definitely love to cook. I want certain things, and a woman wants certain things. Each person that gets together, you got to focus on the deal that you want out of life. You want certain things, he wants certain things, and we could tweak that to what we want within our relationships. But for the most part, men want simplistic, standard little things. And like I said from the beginning, if we can get these small little things like sex and sandwich, like Kevin said, with sex, sandwich, silence, we'll dive in front of bullets for that. We'll do all these other astronomical things just to have this simple thing called peace, i.e. no nagging me. Give me my 90 minutes and don't fight me on that so I can be the best me that you need me to be for the rest of the day. That's what I want. I want a good deal.
Off of the fact that you have a woman that is a stay-at-home mom and her only job is to maintain the house and take care of you?
I'm not saying she got to maintain the house. For me, I want what I want. I ain't saying every man need to have the same thing, but a man wants a deal. Whatever he wants, that's what he should be after. And he should find somebody and say, okay, I can give you this and you can give me these. It don't have to be the old school things. It could be whatever that person wants. This man wants something though. And this
I'm just
woman
trying to
wants
understand
something.
how you want your 90 minutes to
I do.
yourself. If we both
Personally,
don't
I
work
do.
12 hours and we have kids at home.
Ma'am, just let him find a
I'm just saying
unicorn.
what I want. I want my peace of mind to get. I want my meditation in my mornings. That's what I need. Every man might not need that, but
Good
I
luck,
want that.
sir. Okay, Lauren, mic check.
No. Mm-mm.
It has to be in her settings.
Okay,
Lauren,
I
Lauren, are you on a mobile phone or are you on a computer? Throw a 1 up for a mobile phone or 2 up for a computer.
It's full
So she's on a full computer.
shut your face
And
up.
Lauren, did you hit the settings cogwheel down at the bottom where it says settings? And then when you hit that and you click the audio tab, did you try the different microphones? Try the different ones and see if it works. If it's only one microphone in there, then
She might need to go to assistant preferences and preference her vocals, her mic to
yeah,
gotta pick
she's
it.
already
Right on the
We
left.
need your opinion.
Your man would have figured it out.
Don't do that.
Well, that's the third P. Problem solved. That's what we do. A man would have walked over and said, "Move, baby. Let me watch out. I got you."
So I
right, you good.
ask again, how do we have less responsibilities? But that's neither here nor there. Go ahead.
Yeah, we move. Yeah, Trill, because we're gonna be here all
I want to
night.
go to next number 2.
okay, Lauren, we'll get you squared away. Okay, I promise. We'll come back to you.
And also, Lauren, you could just switch to your cell phone, Lauren.
That's
Just
what
switch to your iPhone.
She need to get a MacBook.
It just
Okay,
works.
you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of this A Chic Critique. I value your opinion. Our next question is, why do men think it's mandatory for a woman to have sex with them before commitment?
Because men want sex. We simple creatures. We're Neanderthals.
Is that only a man requirement?
Want sex. That's the simplest way to put it. That's what we want.
So before the relationship, so do you think the reason why we're in the situation we're in is because men want sex?
You can keep your sex if you don't want to give it. I'm just gonna go get it from who gonna give it up.
Right,
what-
but
what-
you think
The
we
thing
want
is, do you want
submissive
sex? You just want a nut, or you want the
Listen.
intimacy?
Men
Shantae,
want
what
sex.
situation
We're
are we in?
simple.
You guys, but you may be overlooking that woman who wants to be a part of that program you just told us about because you're trying to get in her pants and she doesn't want to give it to you that fast.
He wants the nut and not the intimacy.
I want my
For the
10
intimacy.
things. I don't know what everybody else want, but I want these things, and I'm just gonna go get that. And if you don't want to give me my deal, I'm gonna find somebody that's gonna give me my deal.
And
That
that's
is
our
that
point.
simple.
That's our point. You gonna take the one who is not submissive, or excuse me, the one who is submissive, who's just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna fuck just to fuck because it pleases you, as opposed to
I'm a simple
waiting for
creature.
the intimacy, because anybody could fuck. Anybody on this panel can call somebody and be like, hey, let's have sex. But it's
Not me.
about the intimacy. Are you waiting for the intimacy, or do you want just the nut?
I just wanted to get in that bed with me and roll around the way I want to roll, and I want her to do the other things I want. I'm gonna find my deal. I want that. I want simple things.
You don't want the relationship. You just want.
You don't. I'm not saying I want that. You know, when I'm getting my deal, as a result of getting your deal, love comes.
Oh,
You're
you
gonna
want to
find
build.
that.
Oh, so you just want to continue having sex in
I
order
want
to
a
build it.
business deal, and I'm gonna be in love with the person that gives me my business deal. I want a business deal first, and then the love will come. I'm not gonna fall in love and then try to negotiate a deal. I want the deal first.
How
And
yo,
then-
so-
Jefferson, this is a great conversation, but I just want y'all to know it's 12 o'clock. This is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Everybody have a drink.
Hey, can we take it's
Okay,
shot
carry
o'clock.
on.
It's shot o'clock.
Yeah.
Man,
You
so-
guys
Drink o'clock. Come on. Since you
Cheers.
stopped us, come on, everybody.
Happy birthday, Shantae.
Yes, happy birthday.
Hold up, Tam, you drinking out a solo cup?
No judgment.
That's honorable right there.
I'm drinking out a
It's like
Mystic
solo
cup.
cup still ain't you.
Listen, what Lil Wayne say? It's my cup. Why you
Straight
worried
up.
about
Don't worry about what's in my
Shout
cup.
out to Weezy.
Okay, anybody? Lori, is your mic? No. And maybe
Wait, say something again, Lauren.
You hear me?
Yo, that's what she sound like. Okay.
I was about to say, damn, I don't know what's going on with this. We could hear this time. Come on.
Reboot the computer.
What's
So
it?
back to the topic. Why do men think it's mandatory for a woman to have sex with them before a commitment?
I would say this, man, and I'm gonna make this very, very simple. When you are making big purchases, right? Big purchases or investments, what we gonna say? Purchase sounds a bit, shallow.
They don't
You're
like
making
that.
big investments, right? Like when you're buying something like a house or buying something like a car, or like when you are doing this, there's a lot of investigation. There's a lot of R&D, which is research and development, that goes into making these decisions, right? Like if I'm buying a house, I want to see every single inch of it before I put that $25,000 down and invest in this 30-year note, right? So if you are willing to do that much research and be that detail oriented about a house, why would you not be that way about somebody that you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with? The
Don't
most
say y'all
important
not a
decision
house.
that you're gonna make.
Well,
Right?
true.
So I need to see every aspect of you before I make that lifelong investment in you. And that's as simple as I can put it.
When you saying like you about to invest in a house or whatever, sticking with that analogy, when you make an investment in the stock market, right? Don't you look through everything to try to determine which will be the best stock for you to invest in? However, you don't know what the outcome is going to be, but yet you still invest your money in that with the hopes that you have the return in investment, correct?
Stock market higher risk.
So
Higher risk.
a higher risk, the higher the reward if it works.
That's
So
something
that's
people
the.
say.
But
I
we
mean,
don't, I'm not
that's
gambling
the
like
point.
that with my wife. I'm
Nah.
not making the
Not
same
gambling.
gambling. Hell, you might as well say Vegas. If
Well,
that's
no,
if you
So
can,
let me ask you a
you want-
question, Shan Trill. So you meet this amazing woman.
Mhm.
She's everything that you want.
I think
So
That you
sex
can.
is that important? You can't.
And see,
it's part,
right
it's
there.
part of the discovery process. You're saying that she's this amazing woman, but how do I know that? You're saying that she's
Because of
everything that I want, but how do I know that?
It's crazy.
Shan,
Even when we
Shan.
tell y'all how simple-minded we are as far as it comes to sex, y'all still don't want to believe it.
No, we know that you're
No,
simple-minded.
you don't, because if you did, you wouldn't have
won't
asked that
check.
question. That's what I'm saying. Like for men, like if we're gonna keep it G, sex is big enough to break the relationship, to make that man walk away from you and go deal with the side chick that y'all was talking about earlier and threaten to lead a marriage. But see, women don't see sex like that. Women see sex as okay, it's it's important, but it's not on the top. Like sex is top 2, 3 for men. So again, if I'm making a lifelong investment, something that important, I need to have detailed analysis on. Just like Mistaken is saying, when investing, it's about making an informed decision. Sure, I may not know how the situation is going to turn out, but I'm damn sure not going to take the loss because I was ignorant or because I didn't know no better. So no, I need to see every inch of the house I'm purchasing.
As a
before I make
woman,
that
from a
30-year
woman's
investment.
perspective, I want to test the goods before.
Right. I was going to say, I don't know what woman on here is saying they ain't test driving the car too. I was about to say, I may not be in agreement.
But I think women are different because I think even if the sex may not be as good, like for women, if he's doing everything in all of the other areas, she's more likely to still stay in that relationship because she's being fulfilled. Whereas Trill just said that if he ain't having sex or a man doesn't have sex, he's willing to walk away from the relationship itself. So I think there's a difference.
Yeah, Dr.
But
Miles
sex is
Monroe
still
explained
at
it,
the
and
top,
men
though.
need sex. Men
I
need
think
sex.
some women don't want.
Women do too. Y'all be getting it twisted.
Most women don't want to make sex the priority that it is, but
That's what it is.
It is top priority. So if I'm just accepting the bare minimum, like I love him, but he really don't be giving it to me the way I want to get it. No, I'm
That's
gonna
a problem.
be.
You know what? But that's a problem for women, and that's the reason why a lot of women are making bad decisions that they're making these days in the minute they select. To be honest with you, so the fact that sex is so high up on the totem pole for women, as you guys are explaining, that's the reason why a lot of women find themselves in a shitty disposition when they get it out of their 20s into their 30s, because they chose sex as a priority and picked the wrong guy who he knew how to put it down in the bedroom, but he had no other qualifying traits that was going to make a lasting relationship.
Amen. Had no
for
character.
what she needed in her 20s. And so now she didn't blew her entire 20s on a hot girl summer with all these guys that know how to smash real good, but didn't know how to bring home no bacon. Didn't know how to protect or provide. Wasn't bright enough to problem solve or fix the computer audio for Lauren's MacBook. He didn't know how to do.
All right, Pastor Shannon.
He know how to give it to her in the bedroom, but he couldn't. But he don't know how to fire.
That's not the only quality he has to have, though. Like it is a big priority.
But because it's such a high priority for women. That priority, all the other stuff, oftentimes is overlooked for women. And so the next thing you know, women get a bad deal. Women end up with becoming baby mamas because they picked in these dudes. They're selecting wrong men because sex is so high on the totem pole.
But you just said women don't know how to choose. But the reality of it is women really don't do the choosing. A man chooses the woman that he wants to marry. So we really have a choice?
I ain't saying choosing him. I'm saying choosing where you invest your time. You and choosing to invest your time based on butterflies.
Relationships. That's my point. The point is men
feeling the butterflies when we have
relationships. Sex. You're not getting picked at the right time. That's my point. Because you're putting the sex on such a high pedestal. So many bad things can come as a result of that decision. Next thing you know, you're not getting selected.
But we're not talking about sex as the idea of, okay, so yeah, I'm having sex with my boyfriend. I'm not just out there just randomly having sex. We're talking about testing out the goods before marriage. I'm not waiting till marriage.
No, and I got that. But Miss Taken explained it. She said, if you test out the goods and it's not exactly what you like, he didn't make it come. He's not big. The girth ain't there. He didn't hit it right. He doesn't move as fast. Women will be more inclined to pay attention to the more important things than just that bad sex, which is good. I hope women do that. That's what you should do.
We've learned to take care of a lot of stuff on our own. That's really what it is.
Yeah, that flower is popular. That rose.
Or
they got to hide.
Yeah, or they'll settle for that dude who has all the intangibles that they're talking about in the sex trash, and then they'll just have sex with the men that they really lust after on girls trips. But that's another conversation. Another day.
But see,
women don't cheat.
I don't know why I got to be the only one that keep it funky up here. But hey, I don't know. I got to do it. Look, casual sex is not for women. And then no matter what you say, even though I know they enjoy it, it's not for women. So automatically being bust down without having a husband is not for women. The thing is that as they do that, they get used to all type of crazy stuff. And then ain't nothing like a broke nigga dick. So once they get them broke niggas that really go hard in the paint. Because I'll just be honest with you. Because I've been on both sides. Hey, look, a broke nigga dick, that shit, it just, can I cuss on here? I'm trying to say.
I already did it.
Look, man, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Jay, I'm gone. Look, no. That it's so serious. And what happened is that our women get so used to different men. It's like a norm. This casual sex affects them. And now sex is different from them. I know somebody said they were religious on here. I think it was Mr. Mo. And I asked all the religious people this one question. What's the first directive that God gave a man?
To dominate and multiply.
Dominion.
Fruitful and multiply. So now in our society, we done lost the whole concept of being fruitful and multiply. We really, our minds are so jacked up and we don't clean it until we get old and we start saying, you know what? This is what possible relationship mean. Now I want more kids, all this kind of stuff. So when we plan it out, we got to sit here. We have no control of ourselves. When a woman sitting here is telling you that sex is on their top priorities, we know the world finna come to an end. They might as well blow this bitch up.
Hey, logic question though. If women not meant to have casual sex and men not getting married until we have sex, who are we having the sex with?
But see, now I'm gonna go into that. Is y'all ready to keep it funky?
Yeah, keep it funky.
Okay. So now throughout the world, besides modern times, and if you want to calculate it back till I think it was World War II, right? if you look at the true dynamics of it, the whole concept of marriage and relationships was based off of the concept of half plus 7. We don't use a half plus 7 concept no more. We're trying to date our peers. So as you date your peers, and now as you got men competing to be men, women competing to be men, it's throwing everything off. And now we seeing the outcome of it. Got unhappy households. Households don't exist. You know what I'm saying? All these different things. We're destroying ourselves because we don't understand the purpose of sex. And I didn't understand this until I turned 39. When I turned 39, I was like, you know what? I'm working hard. I'm doing all this. Who I'm past this to? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the dude that sit here. What dude just died? Had nobody. I ain't gonna even say that. All right, but the dude just died, had nobody to pass this on to. I don't care if he was wealthy. We have no true legacy. We don't even believe in legacy because we so selfish. We think about ourselves. And if y'all want me to put the women tier list, women are the biggest offenders of that. They care about them. Hold up. I ain't got it on this. See, y'all, I got a new computer. The women tier list. They care about themselves first. They care about their kids and dogs. They care about other women. Then they care about men in their community. That's the tier list for women in these days. And society support that. That's why we all upside down.
Logic, you gave us a great history lesson, but you didn't answer my question. I said if women can't have casual sex, and men, we ain't getting married until we have sex. So that means that we're having casual sex.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we having the sex with?
That's what I told you. Didn't I just say? Did I
finding
say
a woman that's gonna break that
10
deal?
plus 7?
Nah, I don't.
The 10 plus 7 rule. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay. See, that what you should have said then. You said, hey, I don't know the 10 plus 7. I explain. Damn, let me cut my camera back on so I can look in your eye when I tell you this. All right. No, I ain't gonna fuck around. 10 plus 7 is how I've been ran all years. Is that a man ideal mate is, I'm sorry, not 10 plus 7, half plus 7. It's half of his age plus 7. Guess what? That's how it works in most countries outside of Western civilization. 10 plus 7 rule. Half plus 7. Don't just research it. Research the average age for all these different countries.
Wait. But if that rule is great, but that half plus 7 woman, she would still be having casual sex, no?
Nope, she won't, because she'll get caught up at 18.
So you got women that make rules for themselves on what they want in a man and how they're going to acquire that man. But when a man is really looking for a woman who's going to break her rules to be with him, he wants her to break that rule of like not having casual sex. I don't sleep around, but she going to break that rule for him. And that's what's going to take them to the next conversation. He wants her to break her rules for him. Now, they're not wired to have casual sex overall, yes, but you want her to break that rule for you, and that's who you're having sex with, the woman that's breaking her rule to be with you.
And
I'm sorry, why are you acting like women don't have a physical need for sex as well? This is a mindset that I think a lot of men are in, and especially even when you're talking about other countries, men are, we'll say, in charge, so to speak. And society, and if you read history, women's sexuality was not something that was revered. We weren't allowed to speak about the fact that we enjoy sex or we want sex. Our needs weren't even considered when we were having sex. The only thing was we were used as a vessel to produce, and that was it. But now, as you get in more modern times, where women are able to be independent, are able to express themselves, are able to explore their sexuality, now men get intimidated by that. And it's unfair because a lot of women are in relationships where they are not being physically pleased.
Well, ma'am, you lose me though. It's quick, right? The thing is, do you understand that we have inherited force mechanisms inside of us, right? Do you know it's the reason why we get hungry, right? Why do you think that inside of us we get hungry?
is innate. You have to eat. So there's going to be triggers in your bodies that say it's time to eat.
Would you agree that whatever you believe in, the creator said, hey, I gotta give them hunger, because if I don't give them hunger, they'll starve to death, right?
Correct.
Same thing with thirst, right?
Correct. It's the same thing with sex.
Okay, so but wait, now get horny, right? It's a forcing mechanism, because if people didn't get horny, right, you know what we wouldn't do?
We wouldn't have sex.
Okay, so now I'm saying we have to, especially we're older, we got to master that, because we wasn't taught to master that. I was taught by rappers in Atlanta. I was taught by all that stuff. And you know what? It destroyed me into I had to go through all that experience myself and live it out. And now I'm like this. Damn, I wish I would have known this when I was younger. See, I didn't understand the purpose of sex. That's why I did it crazy. I gave in the urges. I did all that. And we're teaching our kids to do the same. And especially you got women saying, oh, he better know how to eat me out, right? You better know all that stuff. What you're doing is you're playing into your destruction. And they control us based off our urges. Think about it.
So kind of like what Trill was saying. So if a woman mastered to control her urges and say, I'm not going to have sex because I'm looking at the bigger picture, then where does that leave her?
That leave her in a good position.
How?
I guarantee you it's a whole bunch of dudes out there with fishing rods. And we got to, look, I'm not going to cap. We got to fix men too. Like I'm not saying, look, I don't play the one-sided thing. I'm saying men are the biggest ones. You know what I'm saying? We are foul. We foul. Trust me, I was foul. But now I'm telling you, I know how to teach my kids now. And I teach them what they don't have to experience what I experienced. But if I sit here and let them go out in the streets and do the same thing I did, oh yeah, you hard? Go ahead, poke something. No, don't poke nothing, because I know what poking something get you. And then now we feel why we lose our actual we lose our sensitivity for it, because we didn't did it with so many different women. You know what I'm saying? It's like now we don't know what's truly good no more. It's all over the place. Our mind are destroyed. And that's what we deal with now. That's why we will always have these conversations, because we can answer one question. What is the purpose of sex? It's to reproduce. If we can master that, we're good.
Yeah.
Any Christina? No. Tam?
Lauren?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Lauren!
Yeah.
Yes, Lauren.
All right. I don't have anything though. I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Oh my gosh. I don't think, let me just say this. I kind of agree with Logic. I don't think sex for women is the same. I don't think it should be treated the same for women as men. I just don't. I don't think that you should just be giving your vagina out to everybody to figure out who has the best dingling. I just don't.
No, nobody is
saying that.
Okay, just clarify.
No. Wait a minute. Let's clear that up. No one is saying
they coming for you. They coming
to
for
go
you
out
boy.
there and be promiscuous. Let's keep it 100.
Right.
I am talking about in a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, and I'm having sex. But I am not going to be in that relationship and I'm not having sex, and then you propose to me and I'm going to say yes, and we haven't experienced that yet.
That's what we're saying, man.
The question was before commitment. It wasn't after commitment. You're saying after a commitment, not necessarily marriage, but hey, we're in this. We're going to try to work, that's different.
Yeah, that's absolutely different. That's why I wanted to clear that up. Like nobody
would
should.
you have
I got
sex
you
without
now.
a monogamous relationship?
I was like, wait a minute, I know you, Tam, and that doesn't sound right.
No, but that's not different, ma'am. That's exactly what I was explaining. I'm just saying women should be more conservative because they have more to lose.
Right.
And then now we just have to respect. We have to respect the purpose of our sex organs. We have no respect from it. That's why we easily have kids come up, and then women really do too. Because men can just walk away, pay child support. You know what I'm saying? And then women can't. So women that's why I teach my daughter right now. every day. I was like, nah, you got to hold yourself to a high standard. And you know what I'm saying? And look, I don't care if you're a 30-year-old virgin, then guess what? Do what you do. But most countries in the world, they keep their woman pure, and guess what they do? They import these women to have sex. UAE, Kuwait, Korea, I can just name on. All these countries import. They keep their women pure. They import women from the Philippines, Russia, Thailand.
In the
That's
US.
because they don't
And
speak
the US.
English and they're easy to manipulate. That's why.
And the US. No, when you go to certain countries. So when I went to Morocco, we experienced that where they
That's
thought
called
we were
sexual trafficking.
for
Human trafficking.
prostitution.
Hey, you can call it what you want to, but they women is pure. hey, don't touch my women. You know what I'm saying? If my man need to experience something, we gonna import that.
Okay, well,
So this is
okay,
this
well,
is
let's
the
be
States.
honest
We don't
then.
give-
Was some of y'all baby mamas pure? You
Uh-oh,
got
here
her
we go.
or no? I mean, if
No,
mine
don't fade the black. Come back. Come
right,
back to all that bullshit you was talking. Come back.
come
Finish
on back.
this.
Who?
Was y'all baby mamas pure before you got with her?
No, I don't
Exactly.
need to be pure. I just don't need to be out there. I don't want to be embarrassed.
But I have a
Cognitive
question. Is it okay
dissonance.
for you to be out there?
But did you really
Maybe
know what her
mama not to be
status
out
was
there?
when you got with her? Was she
That's
on
more.
it?
But no, I
Cognitive
just want to know: is it
dissonance.
okay for the guy not to be pure and the
It's a
baby
double
mama?
standard. It's a double standard.
It is, if as long as you
Yes.
know it's a double standard.
It
But
definitely
But
is.
it
Double
shouldn't
standards
be. It
exist.
shouldn't be. Both people, honestly, I know realistically that's not the case. But honestly, like a lot of y'all will, talk about like the religion and stuff like that. It doesn't say that the man needs to be going out having sex with a bunch of women. Both people are supposed to be virgins, and that makes sense because you have no idea what's good or not. You learn that together, and then you have nothing to compare it to. So if it's whack sex,
You don't even know.
you don't even know.
Deal with it. Make it better.
I mean,
Well,
you
no,
don't
well, if
know.
we're virgins, it don't matter. Neither one of us know what to expect. We don't know if it's good or bad.
I don't believe
That's
that.
That's
I
not
know somebody
happening.
who
That's
was a
not
virgin,
realistic. There
and
ain't
she
no
only had sex
virgins
with her
out here
husband,
marrying
and she
virgins.
knows
The
who-
reality is this planet got populated by billions of people from guys out there putting it everywhere. And it's a select few of them that's putting it where they want to. And that's how all these people got here. That's the reality. We can talk about all these what ifs and hopefuls and what it should be. But what's going on is men out here wanting sex, and that's what they're going to get. And women, you shouldn't be out here giving it up. But you do break your rule of not giving up sex for that certain guy. You do. You can't say it's all committed relationship sex. Sometimes women are going to break the rule. And that's what men are looking for. That one woman that's going to break her rule for me. That's what we want.
But it's 80% of them now. you try. It's hard to find one that don't break the rules.
I don't do this, but
Stop acting like you selective.
I'm not.
Bro. If y'all, like I say, all that shit sound great, but if y'all think that a man is committing to you in any capacity, ain't got to be marriage. Man's not committing to no woman he ain't got the sex from. That's just facts. Most men, 95% of men are not committing to a woman he ain't had sex with. That's just reality. And everything else y'all saying is beautiful in terms of ideal.
My
But we
question
don't
is
live in an
he
ideal
committing
world.
to the one that's going to have sex on the first date, or is he committing to the one that he's going to get to know, who has the intimacy, and then they have sex? So it's more.
It's
The
different.
thing is,
You got
with that, man,
sapiosexual
is-
men that want that mental safari, and then you got guys that just all they working with. If they don't got the money, they got that dick, and that's what they
No,
working
Mr.
with.
Oh, you can't let Trill off the hook.
Yeah.
Answer that question,
No.
Trill. Don't fade the black.
I was trying. Shit, he talked over me. What I'm saying is this, right? Sex, like, you can make a man wait 6 to 8 months, but if my intentions for you are sex, none of that shit matters. If we're gonna be honest, and that's what a lot of women don't understand.
But how do you know?
Don't talk.
Don't ask the
Let
question.
me finish. You wanted this, so I'm gonna give it to you.
Give it to him.
So again, like I said, if my intentions for this woman are just sex, and men can make that distinction very, 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 very quickly, you can make me wait. You can, I know I'm old now. It's not gonna make me gain no respect for you. What that's gonna make me do is develop Marine sniper patience. I'm gonna get the sex from elsewhere, from a third party, until your ass is ready to come around and give me that ass. And then once I get it, I'm gone.
Jay, are you
fact.
under the impression that sex is better for us if we get more intimate and get to know each other better?
No. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about for the women. I'm talking about for me personally. I prefer the intimacy. Anybody could fuck. I prefer the intimacy because it makes sex better for me.
Do you think that does that? Do you think men operate that same way as well?
No, because y'all already said y'all are simple.
Okay.
Well, hold on. What
So
can you
then night
explain that? I
one or
mean,
night
the
100?
Not simple, but y'all are simple-minded when it comes to sex. Y'all don't care. Y'all.
So now you know night 1 versus night 100. It really don't matter. If we digging you, we digging you. Period.
That's a fact.
I want to know what she mean about intimacy. So, what you mean, like turn off the light?
No. I'm talking about
like what you mean?
Mental and emotional connection.
Jay, have you ever met a man that you set up and talked to him till the sun came up, and you just had this mental safari where he had you questioning everything you knew to be true about life?
I mean, you said a couple stuff, but not everything that you said. No,
that happens sometimes. I know I've done that masterfully many times.
I've done it on the first night.
It can happen. So that intimacy is there. He can pick your brain apart and have you questioning your own religion.
Y'all having sex on the first night? What type of man are you guys?
No, I'm saying I've been able to. Historically, you know what I meant, Logic. Historically, it's been situations where you've been everything that everything that Mr. O just described can happen the first time you guys meet. You guys can go to an event, or I'm in LA, so we can go to a red carpet event or something. And next thing you know, the sun is coming up because you sitting in the parking lot talking to somebody for hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, and it's mind blowing. Next thing you know, you out fucking.
And on top of that, you still have potential for that man to marry you because that connection is just so strong. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Men can determine your potential, your likelihood for this shit to go long distance relatively early. And we gonna make our moves based on that. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say you can give it up night 1, you can give it up night 100. If my intentions for you are the sex, once I get it, I'm gone.
I have a question, Trill, but isn't that a gamble for the female, though? Wouldn't that be such a gamble? Because I look at the rates of people who are getting married, it's like 50%. Like,
no guarantees. There are no guarantees. You're not going to ever get a guarantee.
Sorry.
I think that's just relationships and trying to date. You're good.
But the relationship, but marriage is so low. It's 50%.
You know what else is a gamble?
What?
Going about this scenario in that ideal way that y'all just spoke of, and then he get in that relationship and realize, you know what, this shit ain't for me. I'm out.
It's the same. It is the same thing. It's all a gamble.
So
the other gamble is waking up and you're 45 and you never married, never really had a relationship, never really understood sex. I mean, it's a gamble. It's a whole lot of different scenarios on.
And you end up on Fox Soul.
But the gamble is all that the women always happen to take a risk.
So that's a risk.
Why is it that the gamble is that women always has to take a risk?
Hey, ladies, I'm sorry. I gotta fade the black. These men are disgusting pigs. Our birthday sex.
Well, that for me leads to the question, because me and Shantae were having a conversation before, and that was the question she asked about, about sex being a priority. But then my question about that was then, what does a woman do? Like, what should you reserve? Like being treated, by if you're in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, what should the woman reserve in that relationship versus being a wife? Because there should be in my opinion, a significant difference. I can't treat you like a husband when I'm the girlfriend.
That's not true. You got to understand, this dating boyfriend girl thing is some of the newest concepts that ever existed.
Well, courting.
So when you court, your job in courting is to show that man all the qualities that will make you a good wife. You got to show him that you are a wife already. So don't hold back. I ain't gonna cook my best meal. I'm gonna cook him a little meal until he marry him. Like, he want the meals like you gonna do as when you married, and he want the sex like you gonna do it when you married. He want to see all of these things first.
That's the thing too. Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free?
I understand it's a risk. There are no guarantees. But if you put your best foot forward and he putting his best foot forward, the chances of you getting what you want increase. They don't decrease. You can't hold back and expect to get everything. Y'all
Ladies.
think them rings that y'all that he get on his knee propose, y'all think them come out the cereal box? That's money. That's an investment. That is a down payment, hard-earned money. You earned that along with his resources, his land, and his ability to dive in front of bullets. You're gonna get all of that.
I also
You're gonna
think
get
when you
all of
hold
that.
back too, you're doing a disservice to yourself and who you are. Like most women are nurturers, and for me, I have done the wifely duties for a boyfriend because that's just the type of person that I am. Like, I like to take care of my men. As far as like, oh, I'm a cook for you. My last relationship, I was waking up every morning cooking breakfast in between meetings. Mind you, this man eat pork, I don't, so I got to make my breakfast separately. And some mornings I didn't even get to eat breakfast because I had a meeting.
That's
So
sacrifice.
I'm not going to stop being the person that I naturally am because I'm like, I don't want to invest too much because why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Like, no, be who you truly are, authentically you in a relationship. And whatever is going to come from it is going to come from it. Nobody is saying go above and beyond, and then that man isn't returning the same interest or he's not appreciative of the things that you're doing. But I think I don't know, I think it's a little childish to be like, I'm not going to do this in a relationship because I want the ring one day. It's like, you're not really giving him anything to look forward to. I'm going to give you these cooked meals to look forward to every day. I'm going to give you this bomb sex every day to look forward to. I'm going to do things just because so you can know what you can continue to look forward to. So I've never really got
That's
on
exactly what the men were saying. You do all of that as a girlfriend. Then when you become a wife, all of that changes. Now you're different. My thing is you reserve some of that in the beginning. Like, you're going to be who you are. Like, for me, this is what I'm saying. You want the level of involvement in each other's lives to match the commitment. So if I am the girlfriend and not the wife, I cannot treat you like my husband, but what I can do is show you qualities and characteristics of who I am that will show you that I will make a good wife.
But what if he is still treating me like a wife? I just don't have the ring.
It's taken.
Who's to say I'm still not
he's not.
You don't have the security, honey.
Because once again, Tam, we gotta wait on their time because it's
exactly.
a double standard.
Just because you treat a man like a husband, that's where women go wrong.
You don't necessarily have to wait on his time. If you feel like you've been doing this and there is no return in results, nobody is saying for you to still continue to do those things for 10 years. I'm not going to be with no man.
You walk away, but you still walk away with giving more than what he ever put into the relationship.
No, that's not true.
That's your opinion. But that's your opinion. You can't tell me what I was receiving because you weren't there to receive it.
Reciprocity.
Right.
Question.
I'm not going out of my way doing anything for a man that I'm also not receiving in return. So let's not get it twisted. I wasn't being a wife and wasn't getting the wifely duties.
Right. Let me ask you a question real fast, Tim. What did that look like? What did he give you?
Yes.
Security, home, financial stability. He paid all my bills and I didn't even live with him.
Y'all missing the most important thing. The biggest fair exchange that's going on.
It's not the norm.
The biggest fair exchange that's going on.
So I didn't have a problem doing wifely duties as a girlfriend.
If he's doing all of that, okay, but let's just be honest. Women are doing that and they're not getting all of that.
Exactly.
Well,
yes. Was yours at least a monogamous relationship, my
Absolutely, it was.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, you gotta understand time is being invested.
I'm not trying to play anybody, but did that end up in the marriage? So you played the wife, you played the husband, and neither one of y'all ended up married. So did it really work?
It didn't end up in a marriage because I left behind personal reasons. It had nothing to do with me not getting what I needed from him as far as that relationship was concerned.
Mm-hmm. And that wasn't a jab. It was just really that was kind of like my point, is that a lot of times women play the wife, to their boyfriends, and then many times they will not necessarily get that match. But in our mind, we think, well, because I'm playing the wife, then he's supposed to play the husband. And when that doesn't happen, then we feel, messed up for that.
Then leave.
I did that dumb shit when I was in the 20s.
Then leave. But I'm saying that wasn't my experience.
Okay.
I'll tell y'all what, man. I think women need to focus less on like what I can hold back and more so as to how I can become indisposable to this man. Like what benefits are you bringing this man aside from the regular cooking and shit? Because just like I said earlier, it's not 1950. He's cooking too. He's cleaning too. He's typically doing a lot of them roles that women, like when you ask him, okay, what are you bringing to the relationship? Oh, I do this, I do that, I do that. Most of the shit they name, he's doing as well. So women need to focus more on job security. If we're going to talk in terms of like workforce comparison, job security, making yourself indisposable. What intangible benefit is you bringing to this man's life? Like most women will do a lot of those things, but it's for, again, their direct benefit. If we're going to be honest, a lot of men don't really feel like they women truly care about them. If we're going to be honest, in terms of like ways that care about shit about us that you don't directly benefit from.
But Trill,
about how much money we make because I'm spending it on you.
Trill, do you not know the exact blueprint you saying is the blueprint that's in use right now? That these 50-50 households, all that. The thing is that, look, I watch this. I'm gonna just be honest with you, right? How long we gonna use your blueprint when we seeing so much failure? The failure came with these 50-50 households where now it's no true responsibilities. You said, no, I can't cook. So guess what? I need you to cook. Look, I can't do a lot of stuff. I need you to do it. It's actual roles that come within being a man and being a woman. It has been like that forever until now within the last, 40 years? So now with the 40 years, we see the decline of marriages. We've seen the decline of everything because we accept the exact same blueprint you're saying. So now how long do we stay on this ship with this blueprint or this 50-50 partnership and knowing that, hey, look, that's why you see on Facebook and Instagram where chicks be running around there throwing dudes PlayStation out the window, the electricity on them. Because guess what? She got too much power in the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, let that man do. But guess what? At the end of the day, I respect it because, look, she's carrying all the weight.
Or it's because he promised shit that he didn't deliver on.
We got to acknowledge the time that's been
on shit like that. So again, when we get to talking about these modern relationships, and you just said some shit that was just pure cap, if I'm gonna be honest. When you get to talking about I can't cook, I can't do this. Like, no, you don't want to cook. You don't want to do these things. There's a difference. You are a very, very smart guy. I've sit on these panels and I've heard you speak. You know, you real good with tech. You're real good with this. It's not that fucking hard to read a cookbook. I don't want to do it.
Okay,
is what you're saying, which is fine. Wait. Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Which is fine, right? So what that means is that you get you a woman who can cook, but still, it's gonna always be balanced. Even in those traditional relationships that y'all sit up here and talk about, their relationships were still 50-50. The difference was she wasn't bringing financial 50-50 to it, but she's doing housework. She's doing cooking, cleaning, ironing. That shit costs money. So she's still bringing 50% of benefit to the relationship. Back in them days, it's just my 50 is money. Her 50 is all the rest of the shit. Wait. Okay, so modern relationships are not that fucking different. The difference is that the financial shifted. And with the financial shifting, a lot of these women don't want to cook these days. A lot of women don't want to iron clothes these days, don't want to clean these days, but they are contributing financially. So it's still 50-50. It just looks different. But when we get up there and get to talking like, oh, it ain't, no, that is disingenuous. Shout out to Courtney, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, and that's the wrong person saying shout out when you right points. But I'm going to lay it out to you. See, it's not 50-50. See, it's 100. It's 100. She's 100% doing her role, and he's 100% doing his role.
That's semantics. But go ahead.
See, no, that's
semantics. It is, but go.
And Trill, they're not cooking because they working.
Wait. Hold on.
They're not cooking because they working. Trill, they're not cooking because they don't cook.
Listen. Hold on. Wait. Listen. Because see, what you don't understand and you're not using the basic dynamics is that It's a lot that you can handle that she cannot. I'm going to use another analogy. Well, stats. The military. Back injuries, pelvic injuries, leg injuries, 75% women. Why is that? Because they just can't do that type of stuff. Their body's made for something totally different. Their body's not supposed to do what we make them do because a nigga too broke to sit here and have her be a wife. And then we see her, oh, baby, go to work. Oh, and I'm going to come home and cook. And no. Because guess what? When I get off of work, I ain't got no time to cook. But yeah, you right. If a nigga working that goddamn food line, yeah, and his old lady working at Amazon warehouse, then he might have to cook. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that. A lady can't carry no boxes like that. They can't do it. Because all these jobs you look where these women want this equality and all that kind of stuff like this, they have men assisting them on a lot of these things. They cannot do it. We force them to do it because we have that mentality.
Okay, so just real quick, you laid out physical differences. What do you do for a living, Logic?
I work in a think tank.
Right, so you're using your mind, right? That's not a lot of heavy lifting. You're not lifting big 2x4s and shit on your back. You're using your mind to make money, right?
Yep.
So and if I could really be honest here, most men on this panel are not out there working construction. Am I, Mr. O? What do you do?
I don't get my nails dirty for nothing.
You don't use your hands for nothing.
No. Okay, you live boxing? Ask me, how do I get to where I'm at?
Bro, how you got to where you at again is totally different from
no, it's not,
modern men.
No, be here if I didn't do what I did.
No. It is though, because most men are not going to the military. For one, let's establish that.
But you asked me.
But look,
I'm telling you, you asked me, for example, and I'm telling you,
everybody on the panel, for example. But what I'm saying is this: most niggas are not jumping out the window doing hellified physical work. That's not the case. Niggas is in call centers. Niggas is in grocery. They're not out here going crazy. Niggas is in call centers and going to college now.
And Tria, what I'm saying to you, bro, it's not really necessarily a disagreement. I'm explaining you the problem. I'm literally putting forward the problem to you. You're right. Men are out here in call centers. They probably getting ass surgery because they send their ass so much. So I'm just saying, we're doing stuff. Like I said, look, I ain't gonna get into it. You win. Got that? Hey, women, 50-50. Y'all go and work and bust y'all backs and have babies and do everything you want to and come back. I guess Trill next gonna say he gonna have a baby.
I think there's a difference between equality and equity, and I think women not necessarily want equality; they want equity. That's and there's a difference between the two.
Thing is, man, we sit on these pedals, man, and talk like it's 1938, my nigga. It ain't. It's 2022. These niggas is not out here building no fucking houses. They're not here lifting no fucking 2x4s. These niggas is going to work, sitting in cubicles on a computer all fucking day. So these physical differences that y'all like to refer to, if the shout out to Kevin saying, if the world shut down and we had to go build house, that shit ain't happening. It's not. So stop bringing false parallels to some shit. This is not 1938. It's 2022.
Yes.
Period. Bringing those morals and ethics and gender roles to this space.
Your 50-50 relationship.
Disservice. That shit
what happens when she gets pregnant? For your 50-50 relationship, guess what happens when she get pregnant?
She can still sit in the fucking cubicle and do her work, or she can sit at home in her recliner and pull her laptop up and work. That's what happens.
And we wonder why our women is high risk of all these pregnancy incidents, because we're the only one that's sending our women out in the workforce. And we wonder why everything goes wrong. We the only ones that sit here that's begging our women to work. That's why I say I ain't got no pity. You women, y'all run over these dudes. Guess what? Go ahead. You know what? If you gotta give 50-50, that means you can throw that nigga PlayStation out the door. You deserve that. Keep on going, Trill. Tell them they can do it.
I will. That nigga said that we the only ones do it, right? I know 4 white women at my job right now, over 5 months pregnant, still sitting at that fucking cubicle working. Because again, this is 2022. This is not 1919. It's not 1736. Them women want to work. They going out there and get into their fucking bag.
And my
Until they
question,
can no
my
longer
question to Trill.
physically do it. And then they take off and get their leave.
So Trill,
Wait, let me finish.
Go ahead.
You said go ahead. And even when they take off because they can't physically do the work, they're getting paid leave to do it. So the money is still coming in anyway.
So Trill, now my initial question that you never answer. How long do we stay on your blueprint? Because what you're saying, we're currently doing that. We currently in these 50-50 relationships, and we seeing marriage decline. We seeing divorce goes up. We seeing domestic violence goes up. How long do we stay on your blueprint before you say Mr. Logic is right?
That is the time that we will never see. We are not going backwards, big dog. That's just what it is. So it don't matter how long, whatever. We can sit up here and throw out these ideas.
No,
time
bro.
is not rewinding, bro.
Okay.
Mr. Logic, based on what you're saying, what does the statistics for the divorce rate say the number one reason for divorce is, though?
What?
Because you could say the divorce rate has gone up, and you're trying to say that it's based on the plan that Trill is talking about. But what I'm asking you is, based on the divorce rate, which is typically mostly filed by women, what is the number one reason that the divorce happens?
Look at the top 5 reasons for divorces.
I said number
you
one.
For 5. She said number 1.
I said 1.
You asking me to look up the stats, or you gonna look them up?
I already did.
Okay, so I'm saying
the number one reason.
You want me to just know it off the top of my head?
Oh, I thought I remember watching another episode that you asked
show I have my stats up. I wasn't prepared for this. But no,
so what's the number one reason, Tara, since you had the stats?
Please tell me.
Commitment.
Commitment.
That was the number one reason that most women filed for divorce, was because of commitment and companionship within their marriage was lacking.
Ma'am, can you keep going? You got 5 more.
No, I asked number 1. Finances is like down to number 4 at this point. Number 3 or 4. So finances aren't the issue, because now women are able to work. So now finances don't necessarily, have to be number 1, because you're not relying on a man to provide that for you.
Ma'am,
so let me ask you a question,
Tara. You just can't do that.
Give me 2 seconds, because I had if I remember correctly, I had a conversation on the Chic Critique, and it was with the married women, and you guys told me it was because you're overworked. Wasn't that the conversation that we had? When it asked some of the issues in marriage, and it was like, oh, because we're responsible for this.
In my marriage, yeah, I felt like that. So we had to make some adjustments. Absolutely.
I think that's what he's talking about.
I mean, when me and my husband first started out, I think we were very young. So just like most people, like when they get in relationships, especially when you're young, men and women both practice on the hearts of other men and women as they're going through the process of finding themselves. And so when we were together, in my mind, I'm taking on that mindset, old school, like the way that I was raised, that this is what women should be doing. And it just did not work, because I was, I had his child, had a baby out of wedlock with him. I was going to school full time, working full time, and trying to be a full-time mom, and then coming home after I've gotten home from school to then cook after he waited all day, waiting for me to get home to cook. So things like that, we had to make adjustments, because it just wasn't realistic for me to maintain that level of engagement in our marriage and feel fulfilled or be happy. So we had to make adjustments, and that was fine, because those adjustments worked. We're 26 years in of being together. And I'm not the same person that he met when I was 18. I'm just not, nor should I be.
Do you think it's a combination of the two? So do you think because you are overworking, you're doing all of this work, and then he cheats, now you're like, okay, that is it, and you're blaming it on the cheating? In reality, it's just you're overworked and you're cheating? Like, how dare you? You understand what I'm saying? Because there are women who are being taken care of, their housewives, and their men cheat all the time. They're like, oh,
you know? So do you think that that's what it is?
I'm not sure if I understand what your question
Okay, so
was.
for example, you're saying, so before, I'm going by a prior conversation with all of the women. It wasn't just you. You guys all stated that, you know, it can be a little time consuming. You can be overworked. Okay. So that was what I got out of that conversation. So with that being said, a woman who has worked all of these hours, they come home, they cook, they clean, blah, blah, blah. And then you find out the man that you are doing all this stuff for is cheating on you. So that's additional. Do you think that that's the reason why? Or if, let's just say, you weren't doing all of those things, you weren't, your plate wasn't full because you're not paying the bills, you don't have to work, but then he cheats. So that's kind of like one thing in opposed to all these other things. You understand what I'm saying?
I just want to put 2 cents in. The divorce rate, or the reasons for, in 2022, the 3 reasons for divorces are incompatibility, 43%, infidelity, 28, and money issues, 22. So based off of that for 2022, carry on. So now
I'm just telling you, I'm talking about conversation, real life conversations that we've had with married people.
The reason why divorce is an issue is because divorces are made of single people, right? The reason why divorce is such a large thing is because we have people in relationships who are not fulfilled, they're broken, and you're putting them together and you're asking them to come together within a union, and they cannot do it. Beyond all of that, we haven't even mentioned about men having visions. We have women going out to work and doing all this backbreaking labor because they are forced to. They have to. They're not doing it because they want to. If you ask a woman, does she want to work or does she want the option to work? She will say, I'd rather have the option to work, but I don't want to be forced to work. Beyond all of that, the reason why women are working is because we are meeting men who do not have a vision. Taking a page from Dr. Miles Monroe, he says, your job is not your work is your vision. So if we have men who are not working in their vision and you meet a woman who is a helper, what is she going to help you to do if you're not doing anything? Nothing. So now these women are going into this space and doing all of these different things. And now we have an issue. Now we have divorce rates going higher. We have people arguing about quote unquote gender roles. That doesn't exist anymore. At the end of the day, if you want to have a gender role, make it about ability. If you know how to cook and the meals haven't been made, cook. If you know how to clean up, guess what? Clean. Don't wait for somebody else over here to come home after doing whatever they just did and to ask you to cook or clean. Just do it. It's so simple. We don't have to make it difficult.
I love you.
What's you talk more often?
Oh, yeah. Might start working.
The only problem is I think more men have more vision than she's letting on to be.
Say it again.
She said that men don't have vision. I think men do have vision, just women don't. Maybe it's not the vision that women want to acquiesce to. I think that's what's happening more in my estimation.
Some men don't.
Most men do.
I dig that. I think there are men who do have visions, and I think that there are women that struggle to be able to align with that vision. And even
there we go.
That, we think about, again, going back to divorce or going back to division, like that has 2 different visions. You can't have two different visions in a marriage.
Yeah, you can.
Visions, what happens? You get divorced.
You get a lot of women that say that I see where he's at, but when he get with me, I'm gonna help him go.
Right.
It's I'm gonna build my man up to be something that she got in her head, where he may be already like, I'm on a different.
See, we trying to man. She right. Men don't have no plans, especially in no relationship. If you see her saying, "Oh, she gotta have sex," that's not a plan. That's you trying to get your dick wet. Let's be honest. And then guess what? Hey, if you really listen to these dudes.
Wait. What man don't have no plan?
All the time on Anton late night live stream. And I ask these dudes, what is your plan? They literally don't have a plan. And they try to critique my barefoot and butt naked plan. And they don't even understand it. They don't have a plan, so they can never move forward. All they gonna do is what they see Beyonce, Jay-Z, all these other niggas that they can't carry a conversation without bringing up Kevin Samuels, all these dudes that let you know that they don't have a plan.
I don't know about the guys that you are on YouTube with you, but I'm speaking general, and I'm speaking most people aren't on YouTube. Most men aren't on YouTube. Most men, when I'm saying men have a plan, most men, I believe, do have a plan. It may not be the plan that women want. It may not even be the aspirations or achieve or want to be as big as the plans that she has for her family or what she wants for her family. And so women are out here doing things. I get it. The guys that you're talking about maybe are just some shiftless niggas that don't have nothing to do and all they want to do is play PlayStation and go have sex and wear Gucci belts and go to the club. I get that. I ain't talking about them dudes.
But Shannon,
that's a small minority of guys in my estimation. Say again.
Give me an example of a man's plan.
Oh, well, you know what? I plan on going to college. I decided to jump into STEM. I became a coder. Along the way, I jumped into some cryptocurrency. I took about $5,000 that I borrowed from my grandfather. I bought some crypto. I put it in there, and I'm gonna sit that for 10 years. Back to school. Once I get this job over at Google, I'm gonna start doing an internship. That happens all the time. And then once I get to be a senior, such and such. Say it again.
We don't call that a plan. We call that personal development. That's not a plan, because everything you said, not one thing that you said involved the woman. I say a plan because we were talking about relationships. If you're going to sit here and say, Eric, I'm telling you, if I was doing your evaluation, all that you just put in now is personal development. You said about him, but this whole conversation is about we would talk about relationships, right?
Well, no, but okay. So now first of all, let me get out of graduation. Where do because you want me to let me get out of graduation and get in the 30s? Because first of all, he shouldn't be looking at no serious relationship in the 20s anyway. I just got out of college. My whole everything I was talking to you about, he just graduated, was going to work for Google. I didn't tell you how far along he got or where he was, what office position that he wanted to have, and then now he's going to start dating later on, looking for a woman to be a suitable wife to build the children, and then get a retirement and set a 401k. There's a plan. Men have that. What are you talking about?
I think most men have dreams and not a vision, and those two things are different. But I think in a relationship, when women meet men, they have dreams, and I think the women, their role as a helpmate is to help their partner lay out a plan to help them achieve the vision, to turn the dream into the vision. That's where I think women's strength lie, is that we're very organized with certain things. We're going to think things through and create that plan. So I think that's where women and men are different. I think men they come in with a dream. This is what they want to do. And woman's like, all right, what's your next step? What we going to do? That's really what I think happens.
So to go back though, Shannon,
men have so many plans. Why is it so easy for them to become YouTubers?
What?
No, listen. Hold on, wait. What are you talking about? Hold up. YouTubers. Listen, think about it, right? These same men that you said have plans, right? And I'm not saying side YouTubing and stuff like that. It's so easy for these dudes to commit to YouTubing. You see everything. Men don't have these plans like you're saying. They make decision by decision. I see it all the time. They do decision, okay, this, decision, okay, this, decision. They move like a goddamn little baby that's just learning how to walk. They don't do that. And like I said, anything can take them off a track. Anything. I'm telling you. Y'all don't want to hear it, but you know what? I'm sorry. Look, I'm gonna start sipping.
You're right though. Males keep adjusting their goals, but I think ultimately in the end of it all, everybody up here just wants somebody. We want to get enough money to get old and have somebody there in case we slip and fall. We want to have enough money to get old and have enough that when we not able to work no more, that we can get old together and pay for our medicine. If we fall in the tub, somebody can call 911. That's the plan. I want somebody there. Yes. I don't want to be by myself.
You want somebody you can grow with. You want somebody you can share your
you can't have sex anymore. You still gonna love us.
Right.
You want somebody you can share a life
putting in the time, but the plan is for us to be there together when we get old. We got enough. Okay, we got enough for both of us to get old together and leave a little bit for a legacy for somebody coming behind us. And if I fall, you call 911 and make sure that I get to the hospital. You know, that's the plan. And all this other stuff is just other perks.
Where your life alert bracelet?
Right. I want to go back to something Shannon said. Yeah. Can I go back to something Shannon said? Could y'all hear me? So he said something about men shouldn't even be planning to be married in their 20s, but we talked about earlier that women were fucking around in their 20s. And so how does that dynamic even work?
Because it's a double standard. The younger woman is looking for the established male.
Women should be getting
right, but then
But who are they going to
So
marry?
what are we looking for then in our 20s? Why are we
older
not
men.
fucking around?
Would be
Like,
an
it
older
doesn't make
male.
any sense.
Older men.
How easy
all
it
over
is
the
to be
place,
like,
man.
Man
it's
got
not
his
that.
daddy.
Hey, don't worry
Hey,
about it. It's a
ladies.
double standard, girl.
What
You
you saying?
Double
You gotta
standard.
be
That's
easy.
good.
One at a
So
time.
now let me go
What
get
you
his
saying?
daddy, like your shirt. Let me go get his daddy.
That's what
Older
y'all
men.
looking for.
Absolutely.
Daddy.
Ladies, y'all
Absolutely.
don't know me, bro, but my famous word is let them talk and they will trip over everything they said. Because the thing is, if that was a solidified plan when he was in college, he should have had a goal to do that. That's what's called a plan. And then now if you know anything about corporate, you got short-term goals, long-term goals. That's a plan. And that's why I said
Smart
niggas,
goals.
I'm telling you, they like a toddler. They like this. One step, two steps, one step at a time. That's how they roll. All right, I'm gonna fade to black. Sorry, Shannon.
I really don't even know what he was talking about. But a 22-year-old young lady shouldn't be marrying a 22-year-old young man. She should probably be marrying a 32-year-old young man. Women should be looking for, first of all, hypergamy is real. It's baked in the cake. It's built in. But to have a young man who's on his purpose, on his goal to get together, he's not prepared to even be able to do the things that I'm saying. Now, remember, guys, that earlier in the show, I was telling you about how traditional I am and how in the 50-50 thing. Yeah, of course, a 22-year-old wants his 22-year-old boy want a 22-year-old girl to go 50-50 and go half on everything. That's not necessarily the best deal for the woman, and it's not the best deal for him. So when I'm saying that young men in their 20s, anybody in their 29 and younger, shouldn't be concentrating on serious relationships while they're in their 20s, instead focusing on themselves so they can be a better husband when they get into their 30s. That's the best plan logic for men.
If you get serious with a man at your age, you gotta plan for him to mess up and be patient. He gonna mess up a lot, but you gotta be patient with that, because men don't really establish themselves until they get into their late 30s or 40s and they hit a stride, and that's what you want anyway.
Logical thinking isn't even built in. What we tell the frontal lobe, biologically, the frontal lobe isn't developed until age 25. Women mature faster than men. We know all of these tropes that we've been saying for years, but suddenly this girl's gonna marry somebody her age. That doesn't make any sense. It's not smart for her, especially if she's looking for a man to provide, protect, problem solve.
So where does the planning of being a husband fall into, like you said, they shouldn't date while they're in their 20s and then look to that in their 30s to get married. So what is going on in their 20s that's preparing them mentally to be a husband?
All of that.
What is the plan at that age?
You gotta understand, like, males can reinvent themselves over and over. Like, we invent ourselves at 20, 30, 40, 50. We have the ability to keep reinventing ourselves. And
but Mr. O, she's asking at what point do these guys learn how to be a husband?
Exactly.
Later,
that question,
32,
that question is no, but that's what is put into action. They observe that throughout everything that they're developing in their 20s. That's my point.
Like they
see, but I think that's what Logic's point was about knowing what a plan is. So in your 20s, you should be establishing some kind of plan of what you're gonna be as a husband when you reach your 30s.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying most men got a plan. They got a vision. They got a purpose. They know what they want to do. But if it's not, this is going back to what Tam was saying. I think it was Tam. I was just simply. No, I think it was Christina. I was saying that oftentimes these women don't want. No, I'm sorry, it was Lauren. Women don't want to get on that plan. That's when Lauren was like, you know what? She could see that because women may have a different vision for the family and for the household than he has, and if they don't align, but they still get married, now they fighting each other every night in the bedroom, and somebody's sleeping on the sofa all the time, and next thing you know, they find themselves in divorce court. So. But nevertheless, it's not that guys don't have a vision. It's not that they don't have anything set up. It's not that they don't have a, as you say, mistaken, a dream of what they want to do. And oftentimes it does take a solid woman to come in and put that dream into action or fruition, or to make sure he dots the I's and crosses the T's and do all the things that's necessary to make it actually come to life. Right? Especially on the large scale, because that's when you start getting into your 40s. Men don't get into their financial stride until their 40s. So, but he could do that with his wife. He could do that with the young children as he's growing and building a family. The point is the vision there so it can get started in their late 20s, early 30s? Yes, I believe so.
So
I
from a
wanna get
female,
some of these other
You
questions.
guys,
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap this question up. The people who haven't spoken yet, Christina, you can go ahead. Tam,
sorry, I just had one more question. So you said a woman in her 20s should get with somebody in their 30s. How many men in their 30s actually want that girl that's in her 20s?
All of them.
I don't, not mentally. I don't believe that. I don't think it's on the same mental level. I really don't.
That's a headache waiting to happen. No,
It is.
You're thinking physically. You're thinking real.
The body, maybe what she
Real.
looks like, but
And-
not mentally and what she's bringing to the table.
And
I don't care about that.
Just real quick on top of that, because I got a daughter. If my daughter is 20 and she bring home a nigga 30 anything, he getting hands put on her. But continue, Miss O.
No, I'm saying, look,
No, I want to hear that because that's from a dad's perspective.
I'm a dad, and I want when my daughter's 24, I want her to be already ready to be a wife and dating a man that's ready to be a husband. I want her to bring a grown man home. I want her to be the definition of a man. I don't want her crashing and trying to figure it out with somebody her age. If he a man, I'm gonna accept that. And as long as he can show himself to be a man to me and I can vet him on the qualities that minus the butterflies, that's what I want. For myself, that education is a plus. But like I said earlier, we are simple creatures. I want simple things from this woman. And to be honest, the longer that a woman lives, the more damage she didn't experience for this male and that male. And by the time she get to be in her 30s, she done already put up all these walls trying to protect herself. And I got to tear down too much just to even get her to see me.
So your daughter brings home somebody your age, and that's a man. He's
established. It don't matter age. It matters if he's a man or not.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
But what do they really have in common? Like, what do you really have? What do you really have in common?
Y'all think this thing's about having like dinner conversations. It ain't the marriage ain't about dinner conversations. That's not what it's about. It's
Because
about the deal.
But what I take from that, most older men that are in their 40s, late 30s, bringing home 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, that's somebody that's easily to manipulate.
Right.
What
So
you have in common with somebody that is 22
you guys are fighting against something that's been happening for
This
hundreds
is what
of
you
years.
do. This is an example
Hundreds of years, for thousands of years. It's almost like right now in the last few years, it's like, oh, you know what? This high school sweetheart thing, this whole 19 and 19, and we went to high school together and we got married. That's the highest divorce rate. The highest divorce rate is 19 out of every 1,000 from age. Don't ask me why they picked 14, but from 14 to 24, 17 out of every 1,000 from 24 to 29. Those are the ones, the younger ones is the ones that's breaking up the most. People have been, the age disparity that people are calling creepy and all that kind of stuff has been happening for thousands of years. And only just now, all of a sudden, a 21-year-old need to marry a 21-year-old.
But let me ask you a question.
Jay-Z works up with Beyonce. Jay-Z meets Beyonce at 19. All of a sudden, it works out okay.
Let me ask you a question because
he's 30 years old.
I never said it was creepy. Tam. But I think with his stats, he's thinking about poverty, like a woman who is in poverty and she's younger than you. But we're talking about if she has education. I think those stats kind of change a little bit.
Even if she doesn't, man, you put a book in her hand and then y'all talk about that book at dinner. You
want her to be in poverty.
You could put into it. It don't matter. She ain't got that.
It's even better that she's educated.
But how long? Okay, let me ask you a question. Are those the relationships that she ends up leaving you with half?
Is she giving me her money? This non-poverty young woman? Is she giving it all to me?
No, that ain't the ones that
Then
she
it don't
ended up
matter.
leaving them with
Remember, she at home.
with half. Especially the ones that are the same age. 30 years in, and all of a sudden they broke up. What are we talking about here?
I'm just saying, I'm a woman, and I know that if I'm a certain age and if my husband is so much older than me, and nobody wants to walk around with their grandpa. I mean, they just don't.
Well, I said I need a woman. I mean, I got a daughter already. I'm not looking for another one. So no.
Yeah, because my thing is, what do y'all really got?
We're not doing that.
I just don't see what do y'all really have in common? Like most men, okay, I get it. If you are older, nothing until you put a book in.
Are there any 20-year-olds? Are any of you ladies in the 20s?
No, are any of you guys
No, but
like
we
10
want
years
to-
plus from anybody you're with?
Hell no.
Anybody on the panel 10 years plus from who they're with or who they
Yeah,
had
and when
children
I was in my 20s, I didn't want no dude in his 30s and 40s. That's
You should
just
have.
me. That's
You
just
should
me.
have. That's
I
what
didn't even
I'm
know
saying.
he was 7 years older
I
than
know.
me. So, I
And
mean,
even
he
if
wasn't
you
10
did,
years, but he
it-
was 7 years older than me. So,
Listen,
and
but
I
even if you
was
did,
great.
fast forward to now, if I look at him, let's just say I had a crush because I did. I look at him now, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have stayed in that. It's great because he still looks young, 30 and 40. They kind of look young. But then
I
when you
read-
start getting a little older, it ain't cool no more.
I
Sorry.
rather
But
pour
that's
into a woman
well,
than
smart
tear
time
down
doesn't
walls.
work for everybody, especially women. So I mean that everybody can whittle away. Everybody can look. I'm 49. I'll be 50 in 3 weeks. So you know everybody.
Happy early
handles
birthday.
everybody, thank you. Everybody handles their age differently depending on how they take care of themselves.
You say, hey, Zaddy.
So you know,
Christina likes
I
Zaddy.
agree, Shannon, but that was the majority.
It's
well,
just
that-
I know.
I'm just
There's
saying, you know what I'm saying? So we can't say that. And I get it. You're not saying all. It's always some, but some happens on both ends. And oftentimes, father time is not as favorable to women than men. The thing is, when you ladies were in your 20s, you weren't interested in older men. I'm simply saying you should have been, because that's the guy that would have been more suitable in as a husband. I remember, marriage is the litmus test. That's where we're going. That's the goal, right? That's the threshold. That 30-year-old guy that you didn't think interested in dating, you wanted to date that young guy that was fast and he wanted to party and do all that other kind. He can't do shit for you.
But what if
He
you
wasn't
weren't
gonna be
looking
smart
to
enough
get
to do
married
nothing
in
for
your 20s? I get what you're saying, and that's all
your
cool
fault.
and everything. If I was in my 20s and I was looking to get married and become a mom and become a housewife. So no, that wasn't the type of man that I was checking for when I was in my 20s and wanted a 30-year-old.
But
I
he's
messed
saying
up.
that you should
So
have been
now
because
you
that's
should
your
have been.
That's a whole different
Right, but he
conversation. Now
also
we're talking
made the
about women that's saying that they should wait till they get into their 30s to get married.
No,
Well, I
you
think
did
women-
man
12 years
that's
older
for
than me,
you.
so-
That was not what I was on when I was in my 20s.
You
So
should
when
have
you made
been.
the comment, and why?
I did.
But I
I
think
did.
most women do date older men, just
I
not
did.
that old. Like if they're
Wait, what's
20,
the
they're
hot girl
typically
summer
dating
for?
somebody that's like
I
3
didn't
years,
have a hot
3
girl
or 4 years older.
Why I
But
gotta
not
be a
like
hot
no
girl
10,
summer if I'm not ready to get
17
married
A
in my
hot girl
20s?
20s. Like, why you saving your best years? When
Why
men
do you
are
think
visual
that when
people.
women are single, they're just giving it out to everybody?
I ain't say
lips are closed.
I ain't mean hot
apparently
girl
it's
summer
either
about
one or
having
the
hot
other.
sex. I just meant living your best life, trying to
But that's
figure
the
you
problem
out
with
and all
society.
that.
Y'all make women feel like when she's 21, she graduates college, she got to get married, she got to have 2.5 kids, a dog, a house. That's not everybody's reality.
The reality is when a
That's-
woman
that's-
finds out who she is in her marriage, you don't find yourself by yourself and
No,
then
you lose
get into
yourself in your
marriage.
marriage. That's different.
You find
Women
your
typically
purpose
lose
of your
themselves
life
in the marriage.
within your marriage. That's where you find your gift, your purpose.
Okay, you guys, we have
Wouldn't
been
you
on this
be
topic.
finding
We can move
yourself
on.
before you get married?
Why would you want
Exactly.
to?
tell
That's not going to
yourself
help you
what
be a better wife by putting
want
more
in a
life
marriage?
and years on yourself. Men are visual. We like young and pretty. We want to look at something pretty.
We
and
like
see
to look
what-
at something nice too, though.
Yeah, okay, and something nice.
Black
I
women
can
like to
say,
live
let
with
me just
something
say
nice.
this. I agree with
And males
Shan.
look better
Listen,
mature.
I agree with
Muscles
Shan.
look better
Are
mature.
not checking for 30 and 40-year-olds.
Listen, I
They
would agree
used
with
to.
Shan.
When
Wait,
it
say
works.
that again.
Listen, I
They
agree with
used to when it
Shan
worked.
that some men age gracefully, but let's not act like that's over 2%. Like it's not. There are a few, a
Most
handful.
muscles have to mature to look like they supposed to. A man that's been working out for 20 years and a guy that's fresh out of high school, their muscles ain't the same maturity. We look
That's
better.
bad advice for
We
young
age
ladies.
better. We're gonna look better as more we age.
Do you know how
I'm
many
in my best
girls
shape
and
I've been in my
freaks are in
life.
my inbox? Nobody. No.
I don't know about your inbox, but I know about the world.
Listen, what I'm saying to you is in a year's time, when I go out in the Atlanta metro area, I can name maybe 10 older men that I'm like, oh, he's that guy. 10. Okay? So that's not
Okay.
act like all these men are aging gracefully. They're not.
And let's not
It
act like
sounds
that
good.
these 20-something
You guys look
year-olds
great.
are
I'm not
checking
talking
for
about
them,
you,
because
but
they're
let's just
not.
not play like you
I didn't
guys
take
are the
that bullet.
You're
No,
not.
I didn't take that bullet.
Okay.
No,
But
All right.
though they boot bug, they butt bug it though. So you know what I'm saying? Half of your population is cut in half by being in Atlanta.
And at the end of the day, it don't really matter as much
Yeah,
about
and the stats. I mean,
that
we
man's
could go
look.
by anecdotal evidence, but the stats and I mean the dating apps from Hinge to Plenty of Fish to Tinder. The stats. I mean, the stats are not in alignment with what you ladies are saying.
It's not, but the stats don't break it down by race either. Those stats are including white men, all different types of men.
But we
I'm
getting
talking
a
about
little
when I
ahead
go, I'm
because
looking at black men.
women ain't they're not ranking beauty as high as male are ranking beauty.
If you go to a
rank,
dating app, them stats that Shan is talking about, unfortunately, they are. There are
but
guys
what
who
I'm
get the
saying
most
is,
hits.
what's more important to a woman, looks or resources? On y'all scale, y'all want resources or y'all want looks? Which one y'all gonna have higher?
Safety. Safety is most important.
You want resources more than you want abs. You want resources first.
Safety. It's
I
all
still
about
want
safety.
you to look decent.
Oh my God.
I'm
She
sorry.
said
We
safety.
are not
Integrity.
safety.
You're an outlier, man. You're an anomaly. You're not the norm. We ain't gonna have your
She
relationship.
said safety. I know a bum right outside my building right now. I can give him a machete, and I promise you he'll defend you with his life.
Well, I mean, safety in the sense because for a woman, her
probably got great character
is
too.
one of fear. And so when a woman is actually dating, or when she's going to meet somebody, meet a guy that she may be interested in, she's looking for to see if he can actually be trustworthy. Like women measure or parallel safety with trustworthiness. And so a man has to be aware of that. However, there are instances where men may, and this may be unintentional, but they may invalidate her feelings. They may make her feel like what she has to say is not, important. And because he may say, well, I don't feel like this. I don't know why she feels like that. And so a woman is looking at this and saying, okay, so the best thing that you can give to me is to make me feel terrible. So I'm going to stay away from being around you because you are signaling to me that you are unsafe. So whether women will admit to it or not, number one thing that women look for when they're going into a relationship or even dating is they want to feel safe.
See, but I think that, like I said, we was talking earlier, we saying these plans, right? I think they need to treat these relationships like leases, right? They need to, hello?
Yeah.
We hear you.
Who's that? All right, somebody echo. Hello? All right, yeah. I think we need to treat relationships like leases. You can add to it, but you can't take away from it. And that's how they need to go in. You need to go in your next relationship or relationship like a lease. This is the plan. So now all that extra stuff, you can elevate it, but you just can't take away from it. And I think that's what probably, if you get most men all right, somebody echoing bad. Can y'all hear the echo? Oh, y'all
Not
can't?
no more. I heard it earlier, but not no more. It's something you did. You were echoing yourself.
Yeah, it was, but it's not anymore.
You good now, Logic.
All right, forget it. Go ahead. Y'all move on.
But you're not echoing no more. Finish your point.
No, I'm just saying, it need to be some like a contract that if you don't have a standard, that's when chaos comes. You got to have a standard. You got to have that foundation. You got to have that building block. And then now, like I said, we can add to it, but we can't take away from it. It need to be something that's agreed upon. And we don't have that today. Not everybody want to freestyle. Everybody want to say and say, well, yeah, I agree to that, but I want to take that away now. No. You agreed upon it. Let's stick to it. And then, you know what? I think we just need to treat our relationships like we treat everything in life that we negotiate for. We really put we invest in our houses, we do it everything else, but we very rarely invest in our relationships. We treat our relationships, matter of fact, we treat our cars better than our relationships. Sometimes people's cars get more attention than they women and they men. And then now you're going to actually hold that car. We're going to do it. If you got a lease on a car, you make sure you're not going to actually run that car in the mud. You know what I'm saying? You're going to treat it carefully. You know what I'm saying? Don't treat a man like a rental car. You know what I'm saying? Rental car, you can do whatever. We need to invest. We need to invest in our relationships like we do everything else. That's all I want to say.
All right, you guys, we got to move on. Thank you, Mr. Logic. Okay, so our next question is, it kind of got out of order a little bit, but do you think that there is a disconnect between men and women as it relates to the intentions during the meeting process? I know we just spoke about, men are thinking about sex and women are thinking about maybe marriage. a relationship. Let's just be honest. Do you think that the problem is we're both going in with two very different thoughts on what's supposed to be going on this date?
That's happening.
I do, especially in that. I mean, that kind of speaks back to the whole young people, young women. I think have a different expectation in relationships and dating than young men do. Young men just want to have fun and just you do what they want to do. Young women is thinking, by and large. I mean, ever since girlhood, it's like, you know, what the marriage is going to be like, and what the family is going to be like, and children and things of that nature. And the guys is out there just telling lies, being gigolos, being hoes, running around, smashing, getting as many girls as they possibly can. There's two different alignments. They want two different things, which is one of the reasons why
women are socialized
talks about the
like
rape.
that, and y'all aren't.
It could, whatever the reason is. I'm just saying. I think there's a disconnect.
Correct. I'm agreeing with you because most women are socialized to be married, right? Get married young. Even you guys was just saying that. Like, no, you shouldn't be waiting until your 30s till you get married. You should get married at 20. So women, when they're going into a dating situation, that they may be looking at this potential person as their future husband. You know what I'm saying? Whereas men are socialized to sow their wild oats when they're young. Don't, settle down until you get in your 30s. So of course you're gonna date with a disconnect.
Disconnect, a different mindset.
Because you're socialized totally different.
Imagine dating somebody that has your same mindset.
But do they really? I mean, even if you want to date with an older man, that doesn't mean he's not trying to smash.
It's better than the 20-year-old. I mean, everything is odds. Remember, somebody asked earlier, well, what are the odds, or what are the everything's a gamble, but it's all about probabilities. Anything's possible, but what are the probabilities? The probabilities on that older guy that is a junior vice executive at whatever the hell corporation that has been there for 7 years and has built up as a little 401k, and he just bought his second house, or that is a better probability that he's going to be a better husband, a better provider, and a better protector, and wants to build that life of family and the picket fence and the dog and the 2.5 kids with the young girl who's probably having that same thought at age 25. Now, if that age 25-year-old girl is only interested in that age 25-year-old man who just graduated the other year and all he wants is a Charger right now, a Hellcat, and some Louis Vuitton tennis shoes and to get in the VIP, there's gonna be but he's gonna say what he needs to say to get some sex. Next thing you know, baby daddy, baby mama, another one all over again. Here we go. Break up. How come? What happened? I thought you thought this. Yeah, but I just not where I'm at right now. And that's there's a disconnect right there, and it just happens all the time. So yeah, to the question right now, do people go into relationships with different expectations? Absolutely. But I think it's because people are wanting the wrong people. Men are wanting the wrong women are wanting the wrong men. If people can get in alignment and think about their long-term goals, which is what Kevin Samuels used to always say, my frat brother used to say, always these other cultures are thinking long-term where we're thinking just up to Saturday. If you think of long-term and you think about where you gonna, that's why his question, what do you see when you get 55? Where do you and most people can't answer that because they don't even think that far ahead. But if you thought that far ahead, we'd make a whole lot better dating choices when we're younger.
But don't other cultures marry younger? They don't marry most.
They marry younger, and the family picks
the
partner. So they don't have to think about it. It's done for them.
Yeah, they've been raised that way to think about it like that since their childhood. I want to say right now, I gave this woman a sincere apology because I was the worst deal at 20 years old. I had no business getting married, but the church and the military put their values on me, and I thought I was supposed to because I got her pregnant. She had no business getting into that with me. She expected to have this man because of marriage and the military and the church and all these things that she thought was going to equate to the right man. I had nothing. I had no substance inside of me. I didn't have my father every day there grooming me to be your husband. I didn't know what no man was. I was the worst deal in the world. I had no business other than having sex and stamina. I wasn't worth nothing but that military paycheck. So I had no business getting it. That was a bad deal. And I tell any woman right now, like, man, in his 20s, that especially that young, you ain't gonna get much out of him. He ain't got much up here. There ain't nothing that all the things that you want in a husband, men have to develop that over time. And a man that's got his stride, he's developed those resources over time and piled them on. He took that, okay, I learned from that mistake. All right, now I'm adjusting to what I'm supposed to be. I'm watching other men move. And then you're gonna find what your forever's supposed to look like. If you're trying to find it in some stamina, you're gonna always lose.
He done got fired a few times, Mr. O.
Man,
He done got into
15
enough
jobs
fights.
when I got out the military.
He done got his car repossessed a few times. He got his credit then went down to a 400, back up to a 7, back down to a 4.
Terrible advice. I had somebody tell me when I was in the military, don't worry about the credit. You can fix that later. Just get it. Just run it up. Yeah.
So are you saying that? So what you're saying to me is that, and please don't take offense. Please don't, that black men mature a little later than other men. Is that what you're saying?
I ain't had nothing to do with black, no race.
The fact of the matter is they get married at younger ages, and you're saying this immaturity that causes you to
I thought you were talking about women. No, the men get married around. It's the same. It's black, white, Asian, and Hispanic typically get married around. First of all, the socioeconomic scale is different, right? We at the bottom and shit. But even still, especially in the Asian community, the older men get married to younger women. In the Indian community, older men get married. The entire Middle East, older men get married to. I don't have to talk about the Indians. Hispanic community, older men get married to younger women. White people are usually young in America, especially Anglo-Saxon. It's like, because but the women have a different mentality. They go to college looking for a husband. Their mamas, Caitlin and Jacqueline and all of them, they grooming their daughters to go to college, get an education. But you better find Chad. Find Chad. He's over in the science building, and they come out of college looking for that man and finding that man there. So that happens oftentimes in the black community. It's like, don't worry about that right now. Get your bag. So nevertheless, all women of all other cultures typically get married younger. Only in the black community is it, don't worry about that. Men, you'll get a man later. It's okay, girl. Work on yourself, get your job, get your career, build yourself up, get that position, and then go pick a man off the man tree when you get into your late 20s, 30s, or 40s.
You got other cultures where these women went to charm school and etiquette and all these other things versus auntie mama and them in the kitchen with them. That's a totally different outcome in a young woman. They had to learn. They wasn't getting taught right. They was told the wrong things. You don't need no man. Go out there and get it for yourself. Because the way your daddy did me, I ain't gonna want that to happen to you. And that is bad. That's just where we are today. And we got to understand that we can't equate that on the same level. In them other cultures, not just color, them other cultures are really raising them to be what a man need. Like, I know girls,
Jewish community,
they was
in the synagogue.
When dad tie is a little loose, when it's hanging about right here to that second button, he had a bad day. Give him an hour. Don't say nothing. Versus being with somebody that, what's wrong with you? You just unpeaceful. They learn peace, how to get along with a man. Because men want peace overall. And then we can negotiate on those other things on the deal. So the number one thing is peace. My 90 minutes.
So going back to the original question, because I hear what you're saying, but those other cultures also date with intent. So with that being said, going back to intentional dating, I guess my question is, I want to hear everybody's point on this, but then my next question would be, well, how do we get it so we are on the same? Because what it sounds like is she wants this, he wants this, so there may be some manipulation going on up in there, and there's no honesty, no conversation, no communication.
I think it's easy, man. I think the main disconnect with us is how men are programmed from young, especially black men. Men are not programmed to value legacy until we 40, 35, some shit like that. That's when we start valuing legacy. But when you look at these other cultures, Japanese, Asians and white folks and all that, they are born into lineage. A lot of black men, dad ain't even in the house. So how the hell I'm gonna identify with legacy, and I don't even know what that looks like. So what that does is that it causes us to have to go out here and learn from bumping our head 100 times because we done been encouraged to just be snipers. I mean, I say this all the time. Like, men get encouraged to be snipers from young, black men especially. Like, that's where your value comes from is how many holes you can pull. And that's from your friends, that's from your daddy, that's from your uncle. Man, boy, go out there and get you that. Like it's you get encouragement all around to do that, and even from women. Because let's just be honest, the more highly desirable a man is, the more other women are going to be interested in finding out why. So all of that programming makes us like, okay, it turns us into snipers. And then all of a sudden we hit 22, 23, we meet a woman, and then we're supposed to just flip the switch and be a domesticated man and value legacy and family and all of that shit, when I've never seen nothing like that work in all of my upbringing.
And my favorite rapper don't rap about it.
Right. So now I gotta drag this girl through the mud and pray to God that she just stick around with me as I learn the value of family, as I learn the value of legacy. And then if I just so happen to make it to that finish line, then it's like, okay, beautiful. You know, I'm 35, 40. Now I can start, okay, legacy is important here. Family is important here. So now I'm gonna teach my kids. And again, we are that generation to where it's like, it's hitting us. Like, cause me, I started thinking about it early, like 25, different things like that. But that's cause I had my dad in the crib and he was preaching these things. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, most black men just don't have that. So I think the answer is simple. We have to teach our young boys to value legacy early. And that means finding you a suitable wife. That means planning to have a family. That means like early on and planning to tuck shit away for next generation. Sometimes you got to be the sacrifice for the generations before you. You may not be able to enjoy all your riches. Sometimes you got to tuck that shit in mutual trust funds and different things like that for the generations after you to have. And again, we don't come from that. But those other coaches do. Them white kids that I went to school with, they had trust funds. They was driving Benzes and shit freshman year. A lot of us didn't even have cars. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Got trust funds, this, that, and the third. And not only that, but when I graduate, my dad owns a company, or my neighbor down the street owns a company. And I'm getting ready to walk right into a six-figure position at 21, 22. A lot of black men don't have that. But that I'm talking about is legacy. That's lineage. That's, you know, there's an importance based on, you know, establishing family structure and lineage, and black men just don't have that. So we got to change that as a unit.
When men say legacy, this is just from my own understanding and wanting to know, what does that really mean? What does that mean?
Getting passed down, and my resources that I've collected over my time benefiting generations to come.
So it's just financial?
No, I started with my DNA.
Oh, okay.
It's family structure in general. Like, again, if you look at a lot of these other cultures, we eat dinner at that table at 6 o'clock. I don't care what else you got going. This family time at this table. We in church every Sunday. I don't care what you got going. We in church in the morning, and you do what you got to do after. It's the way family is structured. Like, and if you disavow these things or you disobey, we will kick your ass out of the family and disown you. Like that type of stuff. But black people don't have that. We accept all our family members' shortcomings, and you know, a lot of black families don't even eat dinner together. Period.
They eat all over the house. All in they eat playing the Xbox, and somebody's in the kitchen eating with a plate, and they standing up having a conversation. Someone's in the garage eating trill.
Right. So again, if you look at these other generations, what do you think that strictness comes from? That's my legacy. My dad did that. My grandpa did that. Their grandpa did that. So I'm just a continuation of that. And on top of that, the finances, the mutual funds, the money, the business plan, the just financial literacy is a part of the legacy. A lot of black people don't have that. Niggas living check to check. I'm gonna pass something down when after I pay my bills, I ain't got shit but 200 left over and shit. I gotta go to the club and get fresh, and I gotta, you know, whatever. So at the end of the week, I'm broke again. So then I gotta wait on that next check. So whereas again, other cultures are teaching their kids how to save from an early age, how to invest from an early age. That's why you got a lot of these white folks that's in crypto and shit. They niggas is 16, 17 up 300 bands just in crypto alone. What do you think that knowledge came from? That's legacy. That was passed down. Either his dad was in finance, or I got a neighbor, or I got an uncle, or I got a cousin that done gave me that game, and not only me, but everybody in my family. That's what legacy is, and we don't have that.
I think legacy is also, you know, making sure your name is good. you know, if you're passing your name down to your children,
Nay.
like wherever they go, if your name is good, if you stood in, you know, if you stood on your square as the father, if your son or your daughter goes out, people automatically know, oh, that's you're so-and-so's child. Okay, we'll take care of you. You're good. Like, it's just being mindful of how you carry out your life when you have children, before you have children, and then they carry on your legacy from there, is making sure that they are set up to where they can do what they have to do without any impediments, you know?
Yeah.
For me, I think my answer is a little different than Trill's. My answer it lies with women. I put the onus on women. And the reason why is because, as Oscar Wilde so notably said, everything in the world is about sex except for sex. Sex is about power. Women, you guys have a lot of power and it's being misused these days. And so we talk about, well, men have access to relationships and marriage, and women have access to childbirth and sex. Well, which one comes first? Trill and I just explained, and everybody other brothers, we just explained sex is required. So before I can even think about the part that I'm in charge of, which is the relationship, you got to let me pass through the sexual gate. And if you ladies would put a little bit more importance on that sex here, I say it all the time. And some men in the manosphere get mad at me when I say it, but Cardi B said it best when she said, broke boys don't deserve no pussy. Because they really don't. And if you guys would be a little bit
talking
more
about other cultures and how women there don't give it up. That's protected. But now you're saying in order to get to the marriage, Black women, and I'm gonna just say Black women because we were previously talking about that in order for me to give you the marriage and think about legacy, you got to give me sex. So why?
So now here's what you do, because that question is tantamount to the question I get. Well, wait a minute, guys. You guys want us to have sex damn near on the first date, but then you don't want a woman with a high body count. So then how am I supposed to not have a high body count if I'm supposed to have sex on the first date? Stop going out with guys that you don't want to have sex with.
But see,
you need to be a little bit more selective with the men that you guys are laying with. The reality is women have been oftentimes in our community loose with their womb and loose with the sexual access. And so if you guys would tighten that up, men, and I get it, it's not about, well, if I do this, then men will do that. But reality is, if guys know that they don't have to put no work in, this is what we talk about, the Pookies and the Bray Rays. This is what we talk about, the hobosexuals and the guys that's borrowing your car while you at work and he's at the gym all day. If guys know that they can get it and it don't take no work, then that's what they're going to do. They're not going to put in no work. They're not going to step up. They're not going to work hard. They're not going to become better. Because why? I'm getting what's most important in the world, which is sex. You're giving me what I want.
Do you see how women are confused about this?
This
is why women are confused.
Listen. Yes, they are confused. Let them male, female, so we can have a balance here. Okay, and then Logic, I promise you can go.
All right. I was saying this is how women are confused, because you said that that's really important, but then Trill was saying that even if you do wait and just don't give it up, if I know only thing I want from you is just to have sex with you, I'm going to let you, think you waiting as long as you want, but I'm going to be smashing somebody else over here, and then I'm going to smash you, and then I'm going to bounce. So that's why women are confused. Like, and then y'all say, oh, y'all don't know what to do. Yeah, we don't. We're getting mixed messages on how we should move in order to move in the direction that we truly want, which is to be married. So we don't have sex with you, then it's like, okay, I can't marry you because I need to get the full scope of what it's going to be like to have you sexually. Then we have sex with you. Then it's like, oh, she gave it up too quick. I don't know how many people she smashed if she gave it to me this quick. And like, that's why we're confused.
Let me just add to what she's saying. For the most part, I know that there are women who give it up all the time. But for the most part, if a woman gives you her body, she kind of likes you. You know what I'm saying? She kind of wants to go into a relationship with you. I'm just going to be honest. Am I wrong, ladies?
It's just not based on the right things. The vetting process is not what it used to be. It's off. A lot of women get into these things with the butterflies, and you really in love with these physical things and these things that you see that are visible, but you're not judging them for what's important. That's why your dad used to be involved, or the preacher used to be involved. Other people used to be involved with who you selected. And that's why overseas, typically the guy that they having sex with early on is the guy they marry, because they wasn't the only one that was in the vetting process on that. Your first 5 minutes of meeting a man, you should know these things as telltale signs that he's worthy of my time or not. But the scale is off, the Richter is off. We're not choosing right.
We missing something important, because we're really talking in circles. If we want to sit here and say, let's analyze all these group of people that's doing it successfully, right? You know what? One thing that they understand, they have a moral code, and they understand sacrifice. Sacrifice is nothing that's not even understood in the Black community. If you go if you go overseas and you see different things, like don't go to the tourist destination. You can't go to Mexico to the beach, because now they're going to conform to everything American. You got to actually get into these different cultures, and you'll start seeing, you will see true sacrifice. And then we don't even understand sacrifice. You'll see people that stand with this family for years, and they sacrificing it for their kids. We don't even, like, I'm telling you, it's like when you go, I'll give you an example. When I was in Korea, and I lived there 3 years, and I would see true sacrifice. Like, you be like, damn, that's crazy. And then we'll be over there trying to convince these kids that they're lame for not having sex. And these guys just focus. They got a moral code. They understand sacrifice. They seek and ignore everything. And then us stupid Americans up there talking to our Katusas, or our Korean American augmentee to the U.S. Army, Katusas. They pretty much, these smart college kids that come work with us for a year. We try to convince them to go out there and get chicks, because we so jacked up in the head, and then they understand how to sacrifice, not only in their lives, with their family, with their relationship. That's why they get better outcomes. And I'm telling you, I say it like this. I tell everybody all the time, and especially with our women, and I say, no, our women have a tendency to put themselves before their kids. We see it all the time.
Crazy.
We never say nothing about it. We just constantly let it exist. And now the only morals that we have is broken traditions that's passed on that don't work. That's why I asked Trill about that blueprint. How long are we going to hold this blueprint before we abandon it and say it's not working for us?
Can you elaborate on what you just said about women are choosing themselves before their children? Can you give me an example of that?
Oh man, you ready? You ready for the laundry list? Take your notes.
Yeah, because I'm clueless. I don't know.
Black boys don't even know how to read.
No, it's like I said, when you're dealing with, just say, going into a relationship, right? Like I said, hey, chicks, women, Black women, more Black women should be at home so they can invest more time in their kids, right? They say no, I'm not giving up my career. I'm not work. Well, look, it's the purpose is that, look, if you want to know why all these other racist kids are so more advanced, it's because most of them can pull, and a mom can be that person that you can see here. You don't have to do homework with them when they stressed out. It's about that sacrifice. And then now another example about putting themselves before their kids, and we see this a lot, where you will see that I see these chicks be banging. They got Louis Gucci, they got Louis eyelashes, everything. And then you will see their kids, especially little girls. You be like, you didn't even try. And but we see it, we don't say nothing. If somebody called it out, we'll make an excuse for it. It's like, I don't understand. But the thing is, if she got a kid, she should, that point, her life is over. Her life should be dedicated to that kid and that man. And that's a true sacrifice. So now you're doing something, and you're living to see another day for a better generation.
I think also what's missing from this conversation is the impact of community in those different cultures too. It's not just one person. It's auntie and grandma and everybody living in one house, and they have community. And that's something that is missing a lot now in the Black community. You don't have that person's house that you could go to next door anymore. You don't got the lady up the street selling candy and pickled eggs and hot sausages. You don't have that anymore. You
And
know,
I'm a
you don't
big
have
mama
that
either.
community that's looking out for the kids walking from the bus stop to the house. They know who everyone's kids are in the community. That stuff doesn't exist anymore. You talk about the Jewish communities, they're not putting their kids out. You could be 35 and living in your mom's house and it's acceptable. Chinese people have bought all of Gwinnett County. How do they do that? Because they live in communities and just expand and expand and expand. We don't see that amongst our community.
Yeah, the Koreans bought Buford Highway. They all
right, Buford Highway, everything's a whole nother language. Exactly.
Well, I think that depends on where you live, because I'm from Alabama and they kind of still do that. I mean, my great grandmother lived behind me, my other grandmother lived down the street, the other one lived around the corner. So it just depends.
You lucky in Alabama. I'm out here in LA. Out here in LA, the daughters don't even like their mamas no more.
Right. So
After
I
a
think it
certain
depends
age,
on where you're at. Because
I don't fuck with my mama.
See, watch
I hear
this.
that all the time.
I'm gonna get, and this is a question for the ladies, right? Would you sacrifice your pride for your man?
I would.
Hey, y'all.
I think most women do.
For the right man.
I think in theory, you guys believe you will.
Yo, women sacrifice their pride when they know a man is cheating on them and they stay with
like
them.
you said, I know a lot of women who are ready to be submissive. I think you think they are willing to be submissive. Women say, and I'm not saying that that's you guys, but just the natural reaction is, yeah, I do that. But it sounds good in theory. But
so
in
are
practice,
we not sacrificing?
Hey, yo,
are we not sacrificing our pride when we get cheated on and we still choose to stay in that
Why
relationship?
y'all think cheating is a reason to leave? Why do y'all think that?
Why is it acceptable?
I mean, would you stay with somebody who was cheating
No,
on
I'm
you?
not. It's not my opinion. It's not me saying that. It's me
don't
asking.
even understand.
Ladies, you have to know
Mr. Logic, how do you say
This is what's crazy. In one breath, y'all say that y'all are sacrificed, right?
But Mr. Logic, how do you fade to black? I need to fade to black right now.
Hey, mistake. Hold up. Don't beat me up. Look, just listen. I asked y'all a question. I said, would y'all sacrifice y'all pride and all that stuff for y'all man, right? And y'all said, yes, I'll do that, Mr. Logic. Yeah, I'm down. And then he said somebody about him cheating, right? Hell no, he ain't gonna cheat on me. So that don't sound like
That's not what she said. She said we need to pride at a I said
one at a time.
No,
okay,
that is
so go
that
ahead.
is not what I said. What I said was, yes, we sacrifice our pride when we stay with the man that has cheated on us and embarrassed us. Is that not sacrificing your pride?
Tam, this is not me. This is not my opinion, Tam. This is, I'll ask every woman to go talk to women in their 60s, 70s that left their men when they got cheated on, and ask them would they do it again today. Would they get divorced for that reason alone? I talked to them, and they said quickly they would not have made that decision because it's not a reason to leave your marriage. It's a reason to focus on your marriage.
We're talking about sacrificing pride. So
Regret.
yes, I'm
You ain't a
saying
reason
if
to
I
leave.
choose to stay with you after you have cheated on me, that is sacrificing my pride.
But y'all not choosing to stay. Who's getting?
She is choosing to stay. She stays.
But see, this is how you know that's not sacrificing. When you found out that man cheated, what did you do?
You breaking up.
You know,
guys are the most.
I didn't immediately break up.
When you found out that man cheated, what did you do?
You.
We didn't break up.
Sound like
You left that. You left.
No. A lot of women do not leave because they're mean. They just don't.
Damn, left because he cheated. That's what you said an hour ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not understand?
Woman loved harder
if you
and
so
tried
watch this.
harder and supported
Competition.
harder and hoping
but
that they would change.
listen, ma'am. Do you know if you going out?
That's true though, Shannon. They do. I mean, if your woman leaves you because you cheated one time, okay, really? Like she wasn't in it. She didn't like you like that. She wasn't feeling you. But if you're in love with a man and he's cheating on you,
easy. Yeah, it's not that easy to
you
just
don't
get
leave.
away.
Please don't.
But we're just talking about morals.
Not true.
Like
we
this,
get it, but that heart
we
be
have to talk about like dedication. You have to be dedicated.
We're gonna have to all agree to disagree on this one, y'all.
I want to hear what Lauren had. Go ahead, Lauren.
Go ahead, Lauren.
You have to be dedicated to your significant other. So, like, I would prefer dedication over loyalty. And the reason why I say that is because you can be loyal to showing up. If you're supposed to be at home at 8 p.m. every night, you can be loyal to be through that door at 8 p.m. every night. But what you did from 7 to going backwards to like 6 a.m., we have no idea. But if you are dedicated to your person, you're going to always make sure that you are capitalizing on their best interest at all times. So, why are we, if we're talking about morality here, why are you stepping out? What is the reason for that? And why are we acting
because you break the deal?
Because you're not submissive no more.
Breaking the deal.
Huh?
You stop doing something you agreed to do. That's why the men
You're
cheat.
not submissive no more. He said it in a different way.
Like he asked you to, or you stop cleaning because you would work too long.
What happened to my girlfriend?
Something. That's why he cheat.
But why are we playing the blame game?
What did you do with my wife?
Why are we playing the blame game? Why is it the woman stopped doing something for the reason why you cheated?
That's
Sometimes
why
men just
Listen, if she's not doing all those,
not gonna do that.
If she's not
I
making
thought the
you
biggest
happy,
thing that y'all talked about is about men accepting accountability. That's how we move forward.
Right.
We gotta accept that accountability.
You cheat.
Men accept wait. Accountability, that's a bad term.
you guys,
You're not
one
gonna go
at a
there.
time.
Is it
Wait. Did I just hear men need to accept accountability?
Yeah, he's saying that blaming the fact that if a man cheat is the woman's fault, and it's not. You can only control.
Men cheat because
no. You can only control you. A woman can't control what you do. You can control the behavior, the choices that you make. So you can't blame a woman for you making a choice. You can't. You have to accept responsibility and say, you know what? I just wasn't happy. I was upset in this moment. This woman was here and I shouldn't have did what I did. That's it. But when you say, well, the reason I cheated is because you weren't submissive to me anymore.
Ain't nobody doing this. I'm not doing this. That don't make your point come through clear because you go bobblehead. Like, stop. I'm telling you, if I cheat, ask me. Yeah, I cheated. I stepped out because you stopped washing them dishes. When I come home, the house a mess. And that other girl I cheat with, she keep a clean house. That's why I cheated on you. You should have kept cleaning. You broke the deal.
Why are you coming home then?
Because I live there. And I didn't want to find out.
Still dirty.
I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, your
the dishes are still dirty. You should stay with the other woman with the clean dishes.
No,
she got dishes in her sink
you gonna start cleaning the house, or should we get a divorce?
She got dishes in her sink too.
Hey, Mr. But no, Mr. Mo doing some Texas thing. In Atlanta, we cheat because we horny. So look, I was just keeping focused. So,
thank you, Roger.
This is crazy, right? Look at this, right? First off, when I was using that word, sacrifice, right? Do y'all know every last woman was beat me up just by the idea of the word cheating being brought up?
Yep. I caught
like,
that.
Y'all was swinging on me. I had to pull a Floyd Mayweather to protect myself because y'all was going off, right? And I'm telling y'all don't, it's no sacrifice in that. Y'all like, he better not do this, he better not do this. Y'all got all these instilled rules or whatever. And like I said, y'all will go ahead and destroy a whole family structure over your feelings.
It's theoretical.
Feelings is
theoretical. You theoretically think you'll do that. In practice, no.
And a lot of times when you do it and you got kids and stuff, you go back and you look at it and say, damn, you know what? Maybe I was, you know what I'm saying, a little crazy. Now, if y'all pulled this on the panel, right? Imagine if a nigga cheated on you for real and you was in a house. I think 10 would have punched the nigga in the eye.
That's a fact. I agree with that.
Punched all in his eye. And then
you look like
this. She in here like she like sorrow slapping
Cam do look violent.
That's
why niggas scared to
That's not fair. Don't do that. Don't give me the angry.
You got a mean way you look.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Go look at this replay. Y'all was like, hey, I
think it was because of misunderstanding, though, Mr. Logic.
Y'all want to see all the women turn into a bobblehead? Say the word cheat.
Well, this is how it's always. Why is it that when you say sacrificing a man cheat, like it doesn't mean that you can sacrifice but that doesn't mean that you can't set standards and expectations of boundaries. Just because you sacrifice, you don't give up the other. I can sacrifice, but that does not mean I can't set standards and boundaries of expectations of how you need to carry yourself when you're in relationship with me.
But nothing should be bigger than the family. No one person should be bigger than the family.
Well, then you should think about that, because you are putting the family at risk by your behavior. If I set the standards and expectations of this is the way the relationship is supposed to be, and then you step outside of those boundaries, you're putting the family at risk. It's not me.
Did you hear that? I heard it. I set the standards and expectations of this relationship.
You can't.
We, well, let me say we. Let me not say I. I'll say we, because the expectation I'm assuming is that you don't want me to step out on a relationship either.
And you're correct. That's why I said we don't sacrifice. See, I didn't say the man or the woman. I'm saying we don't sacrifice. I said that the whole time. I said that's the biggest thing that's missing in it is sacrifice. We don't sacrifice. And it should be an act of Congress to break up our families. And then now the idea of the more families that we have, the harder it will be to actually cheat. But it's easy to cheat in the black community compared to other communities. Is we got so many single niggas running around the street. I can take a rock and throw it out my window and hit like 10 single niggas. That's how we roll. Everybody is single. So it's easy for us to cheat.
If you got a woman that's doing all the things the way you like them done, can't you? Men can't wait to get home to that woman that's doing all the things that I like. You want to go. But when she slack up on things, and he only gonna say it once. When you stop, that's when he gonna put his attention at other places. He's gonna start paying.
And what about vice versa?
Stop that. It's a double standard. It
Boy,
is.
Hey, yo, I'm about tired. Hey, yo,
not equal.
Yo,
you gotta stop that.
Like the hell
I say something that I want. You can't say. But what about this?
What about is what about gaslighting? They are masters at that.
So you're okay with it being a double standard. So, for example,
I'm
it's
acknowledging
okay
that double
let's
standards
say
exist.
you eat all the food that Shorty cooking, and you gain a little weight, and on her contract, I don't want a little chunky man. And so, if she steps out because you ain't do the contract, how you gonna feel? Is that okay? Or you just
if I break my deal, then I take what come with that. If you break your deal, that's why I say focus on the deal that you want out of somebody. I want these things, you want these things. The clean house versus the resources. Y'all not really looking at the looks like that. That's a plus. That's a bonus.
It is a bonus.
If a man slack on them resources, y'all are out. He's on a 30-day clock because his pay went down, and y'all are out. And y'all gonna get support from all your women friends that's saying you could do bad all by yourself, and your pastor's gonna co-sign it. And so y'all gonna be okay with leaving the man because, well, he's just not carrying his weight. He's not making enough money. But if I say I like the laundry folded a certain way and I want it like this all the time, and then I go in there, my towels is just thrown in there because you ain't have time. Come on, man. That's what I wanted.
That seems so petty.
But it's a double standard.
Well, y'all calling that petty, but that ain't petty.
I thought of one more thing though, and I gotta go. But it's one more thing, and I want y'all to really think about this, right? Another thing that other coaches do is that their women are a prize. So for another man to have sex with that woman, it's a violation.
Yeah.
Now, if a man have sex with somebody, he's violating. Our women don't understand that. See, they want to be equal. And they don't understand it. If you have sex with a dude outside of our relationship, you got violated. If I have sex outside of our relationship, I violated somebody else. Until we understand that, and we try to play that equal role stuff, it ain't no equal. We're different.
Well, you also violated the relationship too, though. Not just the other woman, but the woman that you with, you violated her too. Just don't leave that out.
No, I didn't. I violated the chick I smashed. And if you get smashed, you got violated. You got to realize.
What I'm saying, if I got smashed, I got violated. If you smash another woman, she gets violated. Plus, the woman that you're already with is violated too.
Okay, when I have a sex with a woman, who's penetrating?
You are.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. If you have sex with a dude, you get stuck. It's a whole thing. I'm just saying, play it out. I'm telling you, our women need to hold themselves to a high esteem that they just say, you know what, I'm not going to get violated. And I know you can try to compete with the men. You can try to be on their level. You can try to do all that shit. At the end of the day, they will fail. I love y'all.
Why not, as a man, y'all start holding yourselves to higher standards?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you are the leaders.
I mean,
right?
be selective. Be selective in who has access to you.
It's a double
Just like,
standard.
just like
it's a
men don't
double
want no woman that's
standard.
been
It
ran
is.
through. Women don't want no man
That's
that's been
real.
ran
That's the
through.
answer
I
for
thought you didn't
everything.
know.
Jay.
I thought you didn't know in Houston it's a double
It's a
standard.
double
It's
standard.
There
everywhere.
goes the legacy that they're passing on, though, too, because you create what you want, that you say you want in a family, right? So your actions need to match what it is that you said that you want in a family. So if your legacy is based on how you carry yourself, and you're the dad that's smashing other women and violating other women, then what legacy are you passing on to your next generation?
Do you understand this though? Do you
But it's
understand
okay to violate.
Well, answer that, Mr. Logic.
throughout history, ma'am, throughout history, this is the way it always has been. The last 40 years, we seen this whole woman movement that y'all got, like, it's y'all turning the world upside down. What we've been seeing now, if you look, hey, do y'all like reading like medieval stories and stuff like that? They really good. Y'all should try to read the medieval stories, right? You'll understand how they women stayed home, they protected the home, they had guys to protect them, and the men went out and they smashed and they did whatever. But they came home and they provided and protected their homes.
Like Game of Thrones?
Yeah, Game of Thrones. It was sad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Mr. Logic,
That's a
what
good example.
legacy are you passing
I'm
on?
sorry. In the words of Trill,
You're smashing other women and violating, or whatever you said, by other women. What is the legacy are you passing on?
I'm conquering my territory. I ain't passing on that. I'm conquering. Cause look, if women would trip on dudes cheat so much, then dudes will be actually, they will be more careful. Like my son, right? I'm telling you, I talk to him about sex all the time because I never want him to hide it from me. Because I know when I was a youngster, I was trying to fuck in the back of cars. I was trying to do everything. And then now I would never did it safe because guess what? I was always hiding from it. My youngster, if he get to that point where he can't control the dynamic like that, you know what? I'm going to make sure I protect him so he can make the right decision. So he can use 3-4 condoms. And if I got to stand there right next to him and pass him one, I'm going to do it. But the same thing with men. If women quit with all this cheat shit, I guarantee you, men are actually probably stop cheating. I think it's a thrill that make niggas cheat. That y'all be like, I'm telling you, if y'all just quit tripping, let dudes just go ahead. All right, go ahead, do what you do, come home. And you do like that when she doing her face like that, you be like this. How you doing, baby? The bowl of chili is right there. Nigga be like, damn, man, that's fucked up, man. I'm gonna stop fucking around on her.
See, women just don't want to be embarrassed. That's what y'all really care about. Not being embarrassed when it happens.
hey, yo, but if tables were turned, if it wasn't a double standard, how would you deal with the woman coming
They
home?
wouldn't be able to handle it.
Thank you, Tam.
Oh,
That's
you
all I
asking
wanted
the
to know.
wrong guy. Oh no, I don't care nothing about that. I was in Iraq for 2 years. I didn't care. I never asked her what she did. I assumed that she got hers in, but I never asked. Ain't none of my business. I accept that. I wasn't gonna be one of them dudes trying to sneak call or FaceTime in the middle of the night and see somebody walking in the background, opening them up. No.
Hey, side note, where you was at in Iraq?
I was in Balad, Anaconda. I was in the green zone for a while, and I was in the G sites for a little bit.
Oh, you're a real true, man. Thank you for your service. Yeah, I was in Balad, Taji.
Have Anaconda.
Yeah, you're a G. I respect you now.
I met you in person, man. We cool.
All right, you guys. Anybody else want to add on to that? We're about to wrap it up. Anybody? Okay.
I'm good.
So I truly enjoyed the combo. Thanks, you guys. Shan, Mr. O. Trill, Mr. Logic, thank you guys so much for being guests on our show. A Chic Critique, everybody who came out in the chat, who watched, thank you so much. We truly do appreciate you. And I look forward to having another conversation with you guys because I have so many more questions to ask.
Yeah, we have to
Thanks
finish
you
this.
guys
This
for
is
bringing
part
the
one.
work in with me. Woo!
Happy birthday, Shantae.
Yes, happy birthday, lady.
Happy
Yay.
birthday.
Happy
How are
birthday.
you guys?
Mistaken. Before you, I wanted to tell
Yes.
Mistaken.
No,
something.
we got you. Go ahead,
Yes.
Shan.
Mistaken. I don't know if
Yes.
you're still dating, but here's something I want you to remember. Dating
Married.
She's married.
should.
24
She's married. Oh, okay. Yeah,
19
Like
years.
20 years. Yeah, a long time.
Okay. Because I was
He's
gonna say
another
dating,
trio. They're like
dating
baby.
needs to be indistinguishable from marriage. It should be it should look identical. And I know you were talking about the whole cow thing and all. I wanted to dispel that, but you married, so it doesn't matter. All right,
Well,
y'all.
you know,
Y'all have a good
work
night.
is, Shan.
let me
It's
just
not
say this one
working.
thing. With my experience with my husband, that's where I got it from. I'm gonna be honest. He treated me completely different as the girlfriend than he did as my husband. He had it was certain limitations that he gave me. He showed up as a boyfriend by, being there and doing certain things for me, but there was a limit to certain things that he would do because not before I became his wife. I take that back. Before I officially became his girlfriend. So when we were at the dating stage,
No, I got you. I get you on a dating. Was he different between committed girlfriend and committed wife, or was that the same?
I would say yes, because he took on more responsibilities once he became my husband.
Okay.
So there was a difference.
All right.
And that's where I got that from, because for me, what I saw was through the way he set the standard of the way our relationship was. Like, there's certain things that I am going to do for you right now, but then once he crossed over into becoming my husband, then it was a whole nother level of things that he began to do for me, and not just do for me, but even showing up for himself, like becoming much more emotionally connected, sharing certain things with me that he didn't before, because at the girlfriend stage, it was still opportunity to walk away. But once we became husband and wife, then that solidified that. And so then it began to grow in a much more, a different way.
No, I get you. When it comes to code to the safe, yeah, I'm not giving it to a girlfriend. But when I'm talking about behavioral issues, is what I'm speaking on most.
Okay.
So, but okay, I got you.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, nice to meet y'all.
Happy birthday, lady.
Already.
Nice to meet y'all too. Good night.
Yes, can't wait to meet you in person.